What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, live with you on a Friday, and this is Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito. Obviously, election is coming up, so my goal as a podcaster, vodcaster, director, filmmaker is to usually stay away from political topics. We don't talk about religion. We don't talk about politics on set. Usually, 2020, however, is a clusterfuck of a year and all kinds of shit is happening out there. Pandemics, we got a presidential election, we got state elections, we got props, we got all kinds of things happening. So it's kind of impossible. And I've been talking to filmmakers, actors, directors, all kinds of different people. And it is getting harder and harder to keep politics out of traditional everyday business. So, let's steer into the curve. It's 2020. The election is 17 days away, which means the election is now because there's early voting across multiple states where people can go vote now. You can do mail-in ballots. You can do a lot of stuff right now to get this next 17 days to pass and get a new president, new governors, new senators. There could be shifts. People could be packing the court. All kinds of stuff is happening. So, if you want to get involved, if you want to talk politics today, we're going to try to find a middle ground on a couple of topics. We're going to, talk a couple of different things and go where it goes. So make sure that if you're watching, you like the stream. Make sure that if you're watching, you follow us, you like us on facebook.com/2mburrito so you can get notifications when we go live on Facebook. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv/2mburrito. If you watch games, if you watch Just Chatting, if you watch, other things on there, check us out. Just Chatting is the PG-13 OnlyFans. That's not where we're on. And if you are on YouTube or you want to watch the replay, the best place to do so is youtube.com/2amburrito. And lastly, for my audio files, and if you prefer to listen to this on the go while you jog, while you drive, and you're like, Lou, I can't keep the Facebook or YouTube app open while I'm driving, what do I do? That's easy. Go to bigchiefburrito.podbean.com and you can listen with your ear holes. Not bad, right? Anyway, with me today were supposed to be two people. Ryan Castleman, director, filmmaker, comrade, was supposed to be here with us today, but he is AFK, so hopefully he might join us. But my co-host today, the lovely, talented, hopefully not sounding mannish, Sofia Carrillo. 2 R's, 2 L's. I always remember it. What's up, Sophie?
Hello. I hope I'm not sounding mannish either.
No, you sound great. You sound good. You sound good. And even if you didn't, I couldn't tell you.
Please inform me if my audio goes bad. Damn it. All right. Can we cuss here, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Friday. We can cuss. So anybody has any questions, we can try to answer them. I feel like I owe you like 3 different special occasion cards because it was like coming out day, it was bi visibility day, and then it's the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month. And so congratulations for all 3 of those, by the way.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I totally celebrated all of them.
Right.
Non-ironically.
You have any headphones on right now?
No, I don't. Can you still hear me fine though?
I can hear you fine. I just hear my echo when I talk to you. So can you put on?
Oh no!
Can you put on any headphones? Why did you take the headphones off?
I can try. Yeah. Because that's what was causing the mannishness from the thing.
That was not it. Because you sound like that now. Technical difficulties as we start this Friday live stream. Are you guys hanging out? Do you have any political questions? What are the biggest questions you have about this political year? Who are you voting for? Do you have a strong opinion one way or the other? We're trying to find middle ground here if that's even possible.
Kanye West
2020, Kanye West. But if you have any comments or even if you want to join us, let me know. Hit me on the inbox. I can send you the link so you can come chat with us. Let me see how that sounds now, Sophia.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, no, I just don't like hearing my own echo through your laptop speakers. I feel like you're making a lot of executive decisions here last second because I told you that your audio was going in and out.
Hey, listen, man, I sounded something like this. It was quite attractive. I loved it.
Oh yeah. Well, you got like a Demi Moore sort of thing happening there. It's okay.
What do
The,
you mean? What does that
the
even?
la-
Thank you, but what does that even mean?
I don't know. We'll get through it.
This is very
But
political.
it's very, very political. And you and I both sort of lean towards, you had, Bernie Sanders ate at your restaurant, right?
Yeah,
So,
2016, baby.
so what was, like backtracking into like, were you already in his camp when that started, or did that sort of solidify it for you?
Oh, I was already deep in his camp. So here's the thing. I don't like to say I'm in anyone's camp simply because I feel like in today's age we are all very partisan, and if you say you're one thing, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she's a Bernie supporter and she's a Trump supporter and she's a, Hillary Clinton, whatever." So I don't like to, because when he lost, I feel like there was a lot of, well, Bernie lost, like, haha. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really, it was about the policy for me. It could have been anybody. So with Bernie, yes, I was in his camp. Long story short, I believe he was running against Hillary.
Hmm.
And at that point, who else? There was other people.
Who was running
Uh,
against? I mean, yeah, the same sort of.
yeah, was it in the primary?
Yeah, he was running
Yeah.
against Hillary in the primary.
Yeah, and I believe, and then Trump. Oh, so that's what happened. So the Republican primary and the Democratic primary uh, I believe, one had already happened. So Trump was already the electee or something.
Presumptive.
So presumptive, yeah, presidential candidate. So what happened was my dad got a call and he said, and it was Secret Service, and so they said, there's a presidential candidate that's coming to your restaurant. Close off the entire premises, or at least like an area of the restaurant, and we're gonna close off all the parking lot and all that stuff. And it was like a whole shebang. And we had this moral issue of, he calls me immediately because I'm like the most politically literate person in my family, I think. So he called me, he's like, so what do we do, because we don't know who it is? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, what do you think? He's like, well, if it's Trump, what if we kick him out? I'm like, yeah, or spit in his food, we'll do something, sure. And then they're like, what if it's like Hillary? I'm like, well, I mean, she's horrible, but I mean, also, like, whatever, like, we can feed her, but like, it's like, but I think it's Bernie. And I was like, oh my God, if it's Bernie, I'm gonna cry. It's like, you need to get over here. So we Googled who was in town because they were, doing speeches and all of that. And Bernie was the one that was in town. So I hauled ass to the restaurant and I got to meet him.
No,
Silently sobbing, watching meat.
silently sobbing.
I thought it wouldn't make it weird.
What was his order?
It was so he ordered the Mexican platter, which is like a big ass platter of like a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't eating alone. I think he was eating with like his, Secret Service and like I don't know, probably a couple of his
I want the Mexican platter. I want extra taco,
yeah.
extra cheese.
Oh, everything went wrong that day too. Like I was in the kitchens and everyone was like panicking and like the order was like not the best and mixed up and this was frozen and it was just like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Things that never go wrong were going wrong.
But eventually the man got his food.
He got his food, he ate, took a bit, but I mean, everyone was like, who's in there? Everything's closed down. They were really crazy, by the way. That like at the door, they were like, who are you? I was like, my family owns this restaurant. Can I go in? That's my dad. And they were like, okay, come in. I was like, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, like
that was intense.
Yeah.
2016. I was young though. I was a lot more. I feel like I was a lot more fanatic liberal back then.
You think you've hardened your stance recently? Is that what you feel?
That's a good question. I'm not gonna say harden my stances necessarily. So I'm still a progressive. I want to say I became less of an idealist. Life. You become a little more jaded. So actually, when you asked me to come into this podcast for this specific topic, I was like, oh, kill me now. Because I feel like I'm done. Like I'm done talking politics because the environment that
All right, thanks everybody for watching.
it's like
All right, guys, it's
here.
been
Yeah, I know. No, but that was one thing that I wanted to talk about because I was venting to my brother and he was like, "Well, you should go on and just say that." Because I feel like the environment that the United States is in right now, it's so the rhetoric is just so hateful and it's full of propaganda and it's full of identity politics and you're on my team or you're against me and it's not helpful rhetoric. It's not critical thinking and actual constructive conversation. I feel like we lack that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I do get exhausted by certain conversations because I just feel like they come from like a very um, hardened, one-sided thing, and it becomes more of a fight than it becomes a discussion.
I feel like
So yeah.
it's definitely that, and it's on top of that, it's also where what side you're on determines whether or not you're gonna like look at facts different ways. Because
Mhm.
and one of the things that I wanted to talk to you, and also, thank you, Jesse Butch Die, for commenting on the video. The one thing, because if you guys make comments or questions on the comment section of the video, whether it's on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, I will be able to read the comments. But if you post a picture or a or just like an emoji or something, it won't come up. So I see that Jesse posted a picture of himself in his biting T-shirt, and one of the things that I do want to talk about is kind of the choices that we have coming up, obviously. But I'll throw one of those things out, which is the hypocrisy of the RGB situation, right?
Pardon?
So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, icon, R.I.P. She said her final words were that she wanted or one of her final statements that she made was about wanting the president to wait till after the election to nominate her. And there's all these videos, there's all these talking points where you have videos of Republicans literally saying, use my words against me. If the situations were reversed and it was the last year, we would not want the president, right? Cool.
Hmm.
And then the Democrats are like, oh, you guys suck. You guys aren't supposed to do this. You said it yourself. You guys got to do it. But
Human decency. Yeah.
but literally, if you go 4 years back, they were on separate sides of the exact same issue.
Hmm.
The Democrats were saying, and RGB, every you can find video of every Democrat saying, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that the president can't nominate a Supreme Court justice on the last year. The president's job is to do their job. The president's job is to nominate. There's a fee, blah, 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 everything. And the Republicans were the ones saying the opposite, obviously. So they literally just switched talking points, right? And if you're a Republican, you're going to believe that, well, we switched, but Democrats are so hardcore against Trump that they're sort of like they're talking over themselves because it's a hypocrisy on both sides that they would just completely, because if you really truly believe
Hmm.
that the president's job is to fill a vacancy, whether it's day 1 or day 1,000 of the presidency,
Hmm.
then the only reason you're switching your argument is because Trump is the president and because the Republicans fucked you 4 years ago. So it's a reactionary stance to take.
Yeah.
And then so you have all these right wing sort of news agency, Breitbart, Fox, etc., and they're putting the videos of the Democrats out there saying it's the president, and then the left wing is like, you can use my own words against me, and I'm just sitting here like, why? And the biggest difference
Hmm.
is no matter what the Republicans would have said in 2016 about it being a lame duck president, election year, etc., if the Democrats had the Senate and Congress in 2016, they would have rammed Garland down their throats like nothing.
Hmm.
Like Merrick Garland would be a justice of the Supreme Court right now because it wouldn't have mattered what anybody said. They had the Congress and they had the Senate. And in this case, the only thing that's different is that Republicans have Congress. Well, no, Democrats have Congress. Republicans control the Senate, right?
You mean the House, right? The House of Representatives.
Well, the Democrats
The
control
House
the
and the
House, but
Senate.
the Senate, the Senate is what?
I think.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the Senate because the Democrats have always had the
The
Congress, but
House.
yeah, but most of the time they have but the Senate is usually the one that's closely divided. So, in my opinion, and like I said, my goal is always the gray area and finding a middle ground. And I don't really see myself as like super left wing or super right wing. I consider myself more of a centrist, and I can sort of see that that's a hypocrisy because 2016, if Democrats control the Senate, they would absolutely have gotten their way. And in this case, Republicans have the Senate. Therefore, unfortunately for us, they have the right to nominate somebody for this. It's just the way
Yeah,
it is,
it's just
right?
the situation. Of course. No, yeah, 100%. I mean, you summed it up perfectly, like, fine. It's one of these like tribal things of like, if you're a Democrat, you're going to be biased and be hurt and sad that they have the upper hand, but that's just the situation. And this is why voting is so important, especially for the Senate and for House, for Congress as a whole. I think it's super important for you to vote in your people there, because then this stuff wouldn't happen. So it's one of those things where most people get very up in arms and it gets nasty. I mean, one side says that, like, oh, respect the dead and all this stuff, her last wish. This is politics, okay? That's a beautiful notion, and yeah, for sure that should be done. But laws are laws. Like, that's not going to change. Someone's last words aren't going to change that. And vice versa. Before, I mean, fucking Democrats could have done something like how you said. And it's just one of those situations where, like, that's happening. And for me, I am a centrist I don't even like to call myself that, because here's the thing: the lefts, the quote unquote left, the Democrats in this country are so far right in a global scope that I cannot call myself centrist, because then I would be right in a global scenario. So I'm a super progressive. I'm like super to the lefty to left for the Democrats. So anyway, a lot of times when I see and hear this whole situation, and I just see both sides on the media just like fighting and blah blah blah, it's kind of just noise to me. Like, in my head, I'm just like, all right, you guys fight over. But guess what? We're not talking about policy. Guess what? We're still fighting wars. Guess what? We still don't have free healthcare. I love how we're just ignoring policies.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good times. Keep fighting.
And you can say like, well, it's just a shitty things for them to do, to like to change their mind. They're just the DNC is just it. You know what? Like, for as much as like, okay, it's you're not snowflakes, you're not this, you're not that, but they act like it sometimes. It definitely, like, if the shoe fits, once in a while you're gonna have to wear it, and if you're gonna fucking cry like I said, if you had the Senate, you would have done the exact same thing. Now, in a right and wrong playground situation, well, we didn't get to put ours through, but you guys get to put yours through. Like, when as much as I am not a Trump fan, when he sat there and he's like, look, the big difference is we got the Senate. So they would have done the same thing. If they had the Senate, they would have put it through. We got the Senate. So yeah, we're being hypocritical. Guess what?
Yeah,
still doing it. Stop us.
It's wrong when you do it, but when I do it, it's fine. But see, that's the thing. I mean, we can take a step back and look at it like that, because we're not tribal. We're not exactly on a team and blinded to the laws. But yeah, I mean, not to shit on Democrats too much, but
No.
I also don't like Trump. So yeah, it hurts, right? I'm still in my.
We're gonna get to Trump. We're gonna get to Trump. I mean, but I'm just saying, let's take a look at a couple of things that
Yeah, let's be a little reflective here.
where we can just be fucking honest about it and say, yeah, you know what, they're being crybaby, not cry. I don't want to say crybabies because that'll trigger somebody, but we're being, like I said, it's just a fucking fact of life in politics. No matter how many times you're saying that, the one difference
It's more
is,
hypocritical.
yeah, it's hypocritical. Hey, Jason G's watching. Jason, one of the best.
Hey, Jason.
Jason, he says, nice to hear a neutral, logical, and honest standpoint. Sophia, you're absolutely right. She doesn't hear
Thank
that.
you.
She doesn't hear that often.
Not from you.
This is why we need to vote. Thank you guys for a healthy discussion on this matter. Thank you, Jason.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jason. Thank you.
Jason's got the blue paint on. Does that mean he's anticipating a blue wave? Jason G, do you anticipate it?
With Disney Mickey Mouse ears.
Yeah, Jason's the fucking homie, man. Thanks you for watching, brother. He's gonna be on the podcast soon too. We're gonna be talking about a bunch of shit with him, cosplay.
Fun.
We might do some trivia. I saw from your post that you just finished The Office.
This is so off topic. Yes, I did.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on my rando cam because there's a sticker on there. I don't want you to see if you can look at it. If you look right there, you see the little sticker above the Alf.
Oh, yeah. Is that Gangster Mike?
That's Prison Mike.
Prison Mike. Yes, I love him.
This is my random cam, and this is something that I was gonna do if Ryan was here. I was gonna say that if we get 20 people, I'm gonna say 25 people watching at any point in one of our streams, I got some vintage Alf gum from like 1980. That's from 1984. Wow. If at any and it's Alf, 5 cards, 1 sticker, and 1 stick of bubble gum. This is literally from 1987. 1987, and it's sealed, and it's there. So,
hey Lou, how can I win that?
Well, no, the bit was if we hit 20 live viewers at a time, I was gonna eat the 25. I was gonna eat the old bubble gum. So if you guys want me to eat this old ass piece of bubble gum that's literally 23 years old, can somebody Google whether eating 23-year-old this bubble gum is old enough to drink? So if you want to see me eat this old ass piece of bubble gum, share the stream, because if we get to 20 viewers, I'm ripping this bitch open and going to town on it. But no.
Fuck. Well,
but yes,
keep talking. I'm going to share it.
Hey, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, thank you for stopping by. She is a streamer on Twitch, and she streams Animal Crossing, Fall Guys, Among Us. She's real cool. If you guys are on Twitch, make sure you go follow us. The homie Kurt is watching Enslaved by Vegetables. I'm currently watching The Office for the 7th time.
Wow. See, I just finished it. I just finished it for the first time.
Really?
So, yeah, I was a total Office virgin, and like everyone was telling me you need to watch it, and I watched season 1 took me forever just because I would watch one episode and then be like, it's not for me, and then I would not watch it for months, and eventually I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give it a real shot. And once I got to season 2, I was hooked.
Did you? Because I mean, one of the articles that people with nothing but time on their hand write is the problematic nature of The Office. Did you? Oh, yeah. Did you cringe at any point in the first couple of seasons? Was there anything where you were like, I don't think they could have made this today, or did you just sort of let it?
Oh yeah, that was my thing. There's so many things. He says sexist things, racist things. Can't quite remember exactly what it was, but there were a few things that my 2020 PC brain was like, "Ooh, that would not work right now." that would be horrible. But nonetheless, it was funny. It's meant to be Michael Scott is not meant to be a likable character. He's supposed to be a lovable, but also, especially season 1, it was supposed to be kind of more like the UK version, which is dry and just cringy, full cringe. Nothing nice about it. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't too offended, but yeah, there was definitely a lot that would not air.
No, yeah, absolutely. And then did you feel that there was a drop off? I mean, the last season and the last few episodes really tie it all back together. and it gives you like, and it's sort of like, I finished the journey with them, and it's emotional and whatever. But but I think I would have been completely fine with that series ending with Pam hugging Michael at the airport, like when he leaves the first time. Like if that was to be, like if that was the last scene of the show, I would have been happy with it.
I think, because I read about that too, and I think I would have been happy, but it would have been blissful ignorance, because I did enjoy continuing watching even after Michael left. Because I do love the other characters. I love that I got to see where Dwight went and that he got the job eventually. Oh, sorry, spoilers. Shit, I'm so sorry, you guys. But I loved seeing where everyone else ended up. I didn't think the whole senator thing, the baby, and like Oscar, and like all of that wouldn't have happened if Michael was there, because he obviously takes up most of the spotlight. I didn't mind it. I mean, obviously it wasn't, high quality, the best The Office ever was, but I did enjoy that it kept going, because I appreciated that. I liked that, how the way it ended, and the fact that Michael wasn't the center of everything.
The only character that I really hated post Michael was the Nard dog, because
they really made him a villain at the end.
Because that character they didn't know what the fuck to do with him, because at the beginning he was just like this big tuna and this and that, and he was kind of like this, like over, and then he was all of a sudden he was like, oh, he comes from a rich family and he's from Cornell, and he like this thing, and the whole thing with Aaron where he's got this hot ass girl and he's like ignoring her like an idiot. Lets the other guy kind of sneak up on him. Like, I think his character is the most unnecessary of that entire series. I think you can get rid of him, and the show doesn't really change much.
And they kind of prove that when he left for 3 months, and like I didn't even know, I didn't miss him, I didn't notice. Like,
and then he comes back, they don't know what to do with him. He wants the job, he doesn't want the job. He wants to do this, he doesn't like. From season to season, they were just like his whole entire modus operandi. And that's right. Let's see. Dizzy says he's supposed to be an obnoxious boss, definitely not likable. Only when he is with Holly do I like his. Yeah, him and Holly. That whole him and Holly.
Oh, Michael. Yeah.
That's
it's
like
so cute.
That's so cute. Yeah, that's definitely. And
there's someone for everyone. Andy's the worst. Yes, Dizzy Lizzie.
She didn't. Dizzy
Wow, I had a stroke right
Andy
there.
is the worst. Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the whole other thing is like how if you rewatch it, Pam is like a villain or something like that. Like, oh,
really?
Get off, Pam. Right? I don't know.
I mean, I guess I'll tell you once I rewatch it.
Yeah, no. For me, I think I've gone all the way through probably 3 times. The original time when I watched it, I think was when it was still on TV, and then I've probably gone through it like every 3 or 4 years, or like I guess I'll breeze through The Office, kind of like the same way. Like every 3 or 4 years, I'll watch The Sopranos again. But when I watch The Sopranos again, I'll skip certain storylines. Like I'll completely skip all the psychiatric appointments because it's like I've already seen it too many times.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows where when you rewatch, there's certain stuff that you skip all the way through, or if you rewatch something, do you fully go into it?
It depends what it is.
For the chat as well. What show do you guys watch? Jason, Kurt, Dizzy, what show do you guys rewatch? And are there parts of that show that when you rewatch it, you skip?
I think anything that I rewatch, if I can skip and it's like I know what's gonna happen and I'm not in the mood for it, then I will. Anything from that 70s show to Friends to Glee. I for sure do that with Glee so much. The Good Place, I won't. I love it, but I also haven't fully rewatched it yet. I only watched it one time, like in its entirety, so I'm still in love with it.
Is The Good Place done now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been done. So I breezed through it at the beginning of quarantine, and then I breezed through Community. Community's a good one.
Community. Yeah. Enslaved by Vegetable says, I was getting seriously pissed at the sound guy who was moving in on Pam.
Yes.
Yeah.
How dare he?
But also when Jim went to Tampa and they had that one intern broad that was like in the bathrobe, and she was like, "Hey," like.
Yeah.
I think Jim hit that after the cameras were turned on.
They did everything to try to break them up, man.
I think Jim got it in at that point. I don't know. I don't know. He's in Tampa. He was in a whole different state. He was like,
Did he end up sleeping with Dwight?
oh, something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying. All right, and then Lissy says, I usually don't rewatch shows, but you have a huge list to watch, so I don't have time for that. Hey, it's understandable.
Amen.
All right, so let's get back to, just because I noticed that and I had the sticker on there, so I wanted to kind of segue into that TV wise. But so obviously the RGB side switch, that's something, that kind of denotes the hypocrisy of both parties, where it depends on the day, it depends on the issue, they'll kind of switch back and forth between how they present. So if anything, what that really shows us as voters, as people that are sort of centrist, that I guess could be like undecided, that it depends on the day. Politicians are not, for the most part, trustworthy. No. And I think that that it just kind of goes to show you what the thing. All right, a couple of more comments on that, and then we'll move on to the political stuff. But Enslaved by Vegetable says that 70s show, but I skip after that one kid leaves the show and they add that weird blonde kid. What are you talking about? Are you talking about? I didn't.
The kid, Eric, what weird kid? That one
I don't know.
kid leaves the show. I mean, Eric leaves. He like.
Does Eric leave that 70s show? I don't think I caught the end of that 70s show.
It's the same Michael Scott type of thing. He leaves in the last like 2 or 3 seasons, even though he's a main character.
And then Jason says, I tend to go from start to finish after my 33rd run of Friends. I stopped watching after 66, by the way.
But who's counting?
By the way, the sound guy from The Office is actually the current voice of Mickey Mouse. Fun fact. No shit, Jason.
That is a fun fact.
Okay, and another TV thing that just came up, and this is going to be a little side rant from me, but Showtime is bringing back Dexter for a 10-episode limited run.
What?
Now,
same cast?
I know Dexter's coming back now. Dexter, and I've said this on the podcast, and I've said this on rants before. Dexter is one of the most classic shows where Showtime loved that money. They wanted that bag. So even though Dexter was like dead in the water, they propped it up and they tried to get as many extra seasons out of it as possible. The whole Dexter Dark Passenger Born in Blood thing, it ended on a perfect note. At the end, did you watch Dexter? Did you watch Dexter? No, okay. Anyway, there's I think it's season 4. It's the Trinity Killer season with John Lithgow, and the final episode, the final scene of that season ended literally cinematically perfect. I think it would have been a perfect ending to the show. Instead, they dragged that bitch up for like 3 more seasons because it was the most popular show, and they just got into these more and more convoluted storylines where he was in love with his sister and he was dating another serial killer, and he had a serial killer taking care of his 4-year-old kid. It was yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't watch after the 4th season. Is my point.
Okay,
and
cool.
Now, they're bringing it back.
Shit. I'm sorry.
Now and you know what? My morbid ass is gonna watch it. Because there's shows that I hate watch. There's shows that I start watching and that I love and that churn, and then I just watch it and hate watch it. And then sometimes I end up liking the shows and sometimes I still end up hating them.
Yeah.
Kurt says, let's get down to business. How much for that blanket behind you? I'm assuming he means that Halloween.
Halloween blanket.
I don't know. That sounds like a border deal.
I know, right?
All right.
After October, I'll give it to you.
All right. Here now, the next thing that I kind of wanted to talk about politically is pandering.
Oh, yeah, that happens. That's annoying.
Okay. Biggest examples so far this year are 2, including. I'll get to your comment in a second, Dizzy. Including Trump for 4 years ignoring Puerto Rico, downplaying the amount of deaths during the hurricane, downplaying, any help. And now all of a sudden, because he needs the Latino vote, he releases like billions of dollars of aid like a month before the election. And Puerto Rico can't even vote. Like the people of Puerto Rico cannot vote.
Hey, I'm not mad about
but they release like so much. He releases all this aid last second to try to sort of sway the Latino vote. I don't know where there's that many Puerto Ricans that it's going to make a difference. I don't know if there's that many in Miami or in Florida that would really kind of change it one way or another. New York and New Jersey is not going to make a difference. And there's also the part where he's pandering to the most unchristian president ever. Somehow has all the religious, a ton of the religious vote. So he clears out protesters. If it's not technically tear gas, whatever it was, he cleared them out. Sat there with the Bible. Didn't even know how to hold it.
It was upside down. Yeah,
it was upside down. Took the picture. So obviously that's pandering, but we have to call out the pandering when we see it on both sides. Okay, and recently they had Kamala Harris step out on a private plane wearing some dope ass Timberlands.
Yeah. I saw that. I was watching Charlemagne the God, commentary on that, which was great.
Did he say it was pandering too?
No, he was angry because so here's the thing. I didn't know the significance that Tim's had in New York. And he was like, I'm not even from New York, but like I would be offended because the way that there was an article that wrote about that, obviously, pandering to it, saying that like, oh, Kamala made Timberlands.
Yeah, like she made him hot again or something.
She made him hot again. Yeah. So he was like, what? Like, talk to people from the Bronx.
Timbos have been hot. Timbos is the lick from like 92, like from back in the day. Timbos, every New Yorker has a pair of Timberlands or two. They have the old pair of Timberlands, the stomping, the shit kicker boots, and they have the fresh butterscotch that they have that they clean and they wipe down and they spray down every time they're going to wear them.
Yeah, see?
Timberlands are never out of style in New York.
Yeah.
But 50-year-old black women usually do not wear Timberlands on an airplane. All right. Timberlands are not the most comfortable of sitting in an airplane attire because when you sit back, the bottom part is rough and it hits the bottom of your calf. They're not comfortable shoes. They're cool ass, stomping around NY, looking fresh shoes. And 50-year-olds, for the most part, nor 50-year-old California women usually don't wear Timberlands. It is not a California thing. I brought the I'm from New York. I'm in California. People, you got the Tim because you're in, New Yorker, right? Yeah. So when I saw her walking out of that plane and she was like, I'm like, you, what publicist got you and was like, you know what we need to solidify? We need to solidify, blah, 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 black vote, blah, blah, blah. Here, let's throw these Timbos on and let's have you stroll off this airplane.
Yeah. No, definitely. There was also pictures of AOC wearing Tim's like a few months ago.
AOC is from the Bronx.
Exactly. So that's the thing. She's from the Bronx, so she was just naturally doing it. So I'm sure that like one of her staffers was probably like, "Come on, like AOC." I mean, they responded pretty well to her. You got to do it too.
Yeah, no, AOC's gets a pass on that if she's running around because she's from New York and she's from the Bronx and
No, I know. What I'm saying is the response was like very positive. So I'm guessing Kamala probably like her staffers were like, "Do it, it'll help." It helped her. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, help is such a thing here.
Approval.
But it all comes back to the fact that the DNC is willing to sell its soul to beat Trump. They are willing to do. They made a decision when they decided to fuck Bernie over for a second time. They fucked him over twice.
Yeah,
Two times they fucked him.
This time was like a team effort. It was sad. It was creepy to watch because they have a lot of power. But yeah,
so much fucking power. but
It's insane.
it was literally a coordinated attack. They three major centrist candidates dropping out of a race
Hmm.
like 3 days before a major set of primaries, to where centrist voters had to either go with Comrade Bernie
Hmm.
or, which is what they believe he is, or they're like, well, Pete's gone, Amy's gone, all
No,
the people
no,
that.
here's the thing. They totally got paid off. I guarantee you that I don't know if they got paid money, but I guarantee you that if once Biden wins, because he's gonna win, um, it'll be very telling to see who he appoints to what. I know that Amy Klobuchar is going to get appointed to something. I
Mhm.
know that Pete Buttigieg is going to be appointed to something. Everyone that dropped out and endorsed him immediately, including Elizabeth Warren, even though she took a bit, they're all going to be appointed to something. Guess who's not going to be appointed to shit?
Bernie.
Bernie. Poor guy can't catch a break, man. He like supports evil, and then he can't catch a break. They're still like, you still suck because you're for the people.
No, I
Yeah,
think Buttigieg is going to get like Secretary of Defense or something.
or Treasury.
No,
Yeah,
I think Warren will get Treasury,
you
or
think
education, and then I think
we can make let's make like a little what are those called for the
oh
sports?
yeah, you want to make a little bracket or something? See who get yeah,
Little bracket.
yeah, see, let's
Yeah.
see who, yeah, we can do a betting pool for that. Um,
Some fantasy
the
appointees.
one that hurt
Yes.
the most was Elizabeth Warren. I
Yeah.
think it because if you look at the Bernie plan and the Elizabeth Warren side by side, if you put them together, they differentiate in very few areas. Like you could almost mistake each other's plan for, student debt, taxing the rich, all this other stuff, financial reform and stuff like that. They
Sort of.
and that's where like when I saw a lot of Elizabeth Warren supporters that were so angry at the
Hmm.
perception of the Bernie bros.
Hmm.
And it's like, and it's funny because like the Bernie bros, the majority of the Bernie bros were like me and you. They
Yeah.
weren't necessarily like, they had this perception of these college bros that were like the Bernie bros, but really like we were the Bernie bros.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the Bernie Bro narrative, is propaganda. Here's the thing. It's just something that I can't say right or left. The media as a whole, whatever fucking anyway, they're just anti-populism. But they just come up with this narrative to minimize like the position of Bernie supporters by calling them hoodlums, Bernie bros, frat boys, all this stuff, when it's just normal people. It's normal middle class people, Latinos, all kinds, and it's just a way to minimize their voters
Progressives.
because voter shaming is a thing, and it helps because then Warren voters and everyone else can be like, oh, Bernie bros, and once the whole media is against you, I mean, people are going to hear something, especially if they don't have time to research anything. They're going to hear something and they're going to just reiterate it. That's it. So, yeah. I will say I disagree with you a little bit
Go ahead.
on Warren and Bernie having the same plan. She started off very similar, but as she went on, she got it, and people started buying her a little bit, and she started backtracking. So she started off with like full Medicare for all, like a different version, which like it was a little more Obamacare-ish,
Mhm.
but then she just fully went to like not none of it. Like she just backtracked. She's like, oh no, I was never for that. And then she started off with like um higher taxes for the rich or whatever, and then she backtracked on the percentage. There was a lot of things that I was just like, bro, you're like getting bought out like in front of our eyes. This is not cool. Which is why I was in her camp at the beginning a little bit. Like I was like, okay, it's between you two, let's see. And then she just very slowly started going very right, and I was like, oh no, sorry.
Oh no,
Oh no,
not
I wanted a woman.
not.
Yeah, and then all my friends were like, but she's a woman. And I was like, yeah, but her policy sucks. Like I go by policy. I don't go by fucking genitals. I'm sorry.
You should get that on the t-shirts. I,
Yeah.
policy over genitals. What I don't
Yeah.
know.
As much as I want a woman president, listen, and the same thing with Kamala. I think the day that she got VP vote, you were like, how do you feel like a woman of color? And I was like,
Right.
her policy sucks.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah, and it's
So
funny that me and you were, and I think we were similar, which is like if you're talking Kamala, Joe Biden, Amy, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie,
mhm.
Elizabeth. if I was gonna put them like 1 through
Yang.
7,
Add Yang. Add Yang to that.
oh Yang Gang, Yang Gang, Yang Gang, give me my $1,000 a month, Yang Gang. Yeah,
He
yeah,
became my number two. He became
yeah.
my number two.
Like, yeah, like Bernie would have been number 1 for me. Probably Yang would have been number 2. Like, and then after that, like Pete, Amy. You know, the bottom 2 would have been Kamala and Joe. You know, because we knew, like we told the entire DNC, if you nominate Biden, this is the narrative that Republicans are going to push. It's already written. He's creepy Joe, and he's got dementia,
Mm-hmm.
and he's as establishment as you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance stocks went through the roof when Bernie dropped out, and all that was left was Joe. The DNC is banking their entire wad on a ham sandwich could beat Donald Trump. So let's put the ham sandwich in that's going to be the most beholden to our corporate interests,
Mm-hmm.
to our big money donors, and that is not going to rock the boat.
Exactly.
So basically, the DNC sold you all out, sold free healthcare, all the Bernie things. They sold all of that. They put the shit all on the line, going all in on beating Trump and regaining what they call normalcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
100%. No, yeah, that's exactly the ham sandwich thing. Exactly. Biden didn't even campaign. Like, here's the thing. I was up every day of the primary. I was up to date.
He didn't even campaign.
He didn't even campaign. He never got out of his house. He didn't do anything. And he won. Reason being, it gives that establishment normalcy vibe that you mentioned. And so I remember the first couple states, I think Biden won one of them, and then Bernie the next 2 swing states, like, you know how they were going in order.
Buttigieg won New Hampshire.
Yeah, Buttigieg won New Hampshire.
Oh,
and
yeah. Or Iowa, whatever the first one it was.
That's when Bernie started getting like really competitive, like, oh damn, he could actually win. That's when they started getting nervous. And the only person that had won, you know, from their side that had won states before that was Biden. So they were like, I think they would have gone with Warren, honestly, because she is equally as establishment as he is.
Yeah.
But she wasn't winning. She just wasn't winning. And Biden had been winning, even though he hadn't done anything. Which was, yeah. I mean, I think a ham sandwich could beat Donald Trump, and that's because, not that I don't like the guy, but like he's just not good at campaigning. Especially COVID did not help his cause. Like, it just didn't. So I think he's gonna lose. I'm like pretty sure about that.
No, and I think the thing was Pete couldn't get the black vote, and I think that or the Latino vote. And then Yang Gang was like too unknown.
Yeah, they were where Bernie was in 2016. So like,
yeah,
they need a little more to grow. And
I mean,
he's fine.
Can we get Yang AOC in 2024? What's up with that? Yang AOC.
I would love it. Yang's policy, it's a little bit right for my taste. Like, it's a little conservative, but economically, I love it. Like, he proposes UBI. Universal basic income for everyone, and yeah, that's what we need right now. Not even Bernie had that.
No.
That's where I was like, that's cool. Yeah, so anyway,
and the other thing that they did is the I don't know if this was like a under the table agreement, but if you've noticed, the Democrats have not been hitting Trump on the Epstein stuff. They're not hitting him on like the creepiness stuff. They're not hitting him on the grab him by the pussy stuff. They're not hitting him on anything that deals with his alleged abuse of women. And I think that's because the Republicans are laying off the Me Too Joe Biden stuff. Like, the DNC sold it so much that the Me Too movement is an essentially sort of not a strictly Democratic movement, but it does run parallel to the Democratic causes, right? They're not together, but they run sort of parallel. Yeah. And for a while, everything was Me Too, believe all women, this and that, blah blah blah. There's an allegation against Joe Biden,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, yeah, we need to like not necessarily believe all women all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a step back and really let's look at this, right?
But some women lie sometimes. I mean, believe all women, but like not when they lie. I mean, it's like
Whether she was lying or not, they took a step back, right? They basically decided not to.
They haven't brought that up at all. And I think it's in their best interest because, like you said, I mean, they can't bring up stuff to Donald Trump because he'll just bring it back up double time to Joe. I mean, he has the same, if not a worse track record because, I mean, no, I'm going to say similar, whatever. But yeah, I love how when his victim came out and like freely spoke about her experiences, crickets in the media. But when Warren one time throws a low blow at Bernie, which is totally false, by the way, saying like, oh, he's sexist with like no proof or anything, the media runs with it. And so it's the media is just very biased. And, you know, let's be clear, they're owned by like how many corporations? Like 2?
No, absolutely. Let's jump onto that now because that is absolutely, we are being manipulated, whether you like to admit it or not, whether you're on the left or on the right, you are being manipulated by what's in front of you on your TV. I made the point the other day, which is I posted a picture of the Trump holding up the Bible, which Kurt said is, I thought Trump was holding up a screenplay for Threat Level Midnight. Good one. and just catching up, Lizzie says they should have left it alone. I'm going to watch it too, but I'm still mad about the ending. She's talking about Dexter. You're right, Dizzy. Am I wrong? Should it not have ended after the Trinity Killer season? I think that would have been a beautiful final season. And Showtime, if you go back and retcon this and pretend that seasons 5, 6, and 7 never happened, and you pick up after the end of season 4, I'm going to watch.
Okay.
Okay, just saying. So I put up this picture, and one side of and it was that Office meme where it was both pictures are the same, and one picture was the Trump holds up the Bible, and the other one was the Nancy Pelosi like on her knees with the dashiki, but like where they were doing. And I said,
back to pandering, am I right?
And I said, these are both the same picture. These are both the exact same picture. This is both pandering. It's not quite the. And it could be the best, the most pure form of pandering ever was the Hillary Clinton. What do you got in your bag? Hot sauce.
What about Pokemon Go to the polls?
Oh my God, no. That and then I think it was Charlamagne was like, hot sauce in my bag, swag? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, well, that's pandering, right? And she's like, is it working?
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my God.
That's like the epitome of pandering. But both of those images to me when I posted it's the same picture, right?
Okay.
If I'm being honest, I think it's the same picture. And I put that on Facebook. And I got 1,000 plus friends on Facebook. Maybe half of them are active, and maybe a third of those actually get put in front of me on my feed, or I get put in front of them on their feed.
So the algorithm.
But through the algorithm. But people that I had forgotten I was friends with, people that have never commented or messaged me or anything at all, were getting that in their feed because it's a political trouble starter of a picture. Now, if you knew me at all and had occasionally seen the stuff that I post, you could and seen that I'm Colombian. If you could reasonably assume that I'm not a Republican, you could at least make that assumption based on my activity, right? But people were coming out of the woodwork like, no. The difference is that Trump gassed a bunch of people to take that picture, or the difference is that 1,000, that this people are dying, or this and that. One of them is not a racist, this and that. And the only reason that picture got in front of those people is because it was a political hot topic. Something that would debate and cause you to what? To keep fucking using and being on Facebook because you're having an argument with somebody. The only reason Facebook exists is to make you want to use more Facebook. And somebody had posted something about this the other day. I think it was Margarita, somebody that often comments on our videos and stuff. But she posted something about what is Facebook for you, and I said Facebook is third or fourth hand information, because anything that somebody posts on Facebook was either on Reddit first,
Mm-hmm.
and then people that go on Reddit steal it, and then they put it on Twitter, and then Twitter goes at it, and then people that are on Twitter steal it, and then they put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So by the time the article or the meme or whatever is put on Facebook, it's already gone through the Reddit cycle, it's already gone through the Twitter cycle, and it probably already went through TikTok as well. And you're getting third or fourth hand information.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then it gets to Facebook, and it is the most useless arguments ever, because nobody cares. And it's absolutely going to solve nothing. It's not going to change one person's mind. By the time you get to it on Facebook, the people that are using Facebook are older. They just like to be able to stalk their kids or their ex-girlfriends or see if their high school sweetheart got fat, whatever it is. And some of them get political news from it. But for the most part, it's a self-sustained sort of ecosystem, right? I use a lot of Facebook because I think that their live stuff is in some ways better than YouTube. Their everybody's on there, so it's easier for me to talk and coordinate, and I do a lot of working and talking about projects and stuff through Facebook, because Messenger is pretty good.
Yeah.
But that picture is just an example from my perspective of just a little social experiments that I did, which is, I'm not saying which side I'm leaning towards on this. I'm just making a benign, neutral political statement. Both of these things are pandering. And depending on whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning, you're going to see this neutral post and assume, if you're Republican and you see me post it, you're going to assume, you lefty snowflake motherfucker. You don't, you have no idea. And if you're right-wing, and if you're like, oh, you're just saying that because you hate Nancy Pelosi and you love Trump and blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
After I rant for like 4 minutes.
I'm like, is there a question in here? Because I concur. No, I mean, first of all, what you posted, my initial reaction was the context of it is very different, right? Because one, you had to gas people to get through there. So there's like a significance of that.
Absolutely.
But if you just put the two pictures of him with the Bible and then them with the African garbs, that just that picture alone, just that action is for sure the same. They're both pandering to their audience, and they're trying to get the sympathy vote and look like they are something that they're not. So yeah, I mean, everyone, it's pandering. I vote pandering. I agree, and I would probably get the same hatred because my social media is very left leaning. So I get a lot of hate on that. That's great.
Yeah, this is why I don't like. Like if I want to see political arguments, I'll go watch them on Twitter or stuff like that, because I think on Facebook, it's very, like I said, nothing's ever going to change based on a conversation on Facebook. Nothing's going to, Facebook. You're
just going to get anxiety and
Facebook is literally like fifth or sixth in the chain in terms of where stuff breaks on the internet. Celebrity deaths, probably, but you know where it got posted first? Twitter. And you know where it got posted before Twitter? Reddit. Reddit is the front page of the internet. The geekitude of the world that runs the internet is constantly on Reddit, and their preferred method of distribution is Reddit. That's what they like. That's what they're used to. That's what they fucking use. Hey. So anything on the world that's happening on the internet is going to go to Reddit first. Yeah. Somebody's going to see it on Reddit, steal it, put it on Twitter. Then somebody from Facebook is going to see it on Twitter and steal it and put it on Facebook. Yeah. So you're getting third, fourth hand. You're not special.
No, I watched an early episode of Game of Thrones before it aired because I was on Reddit. Guess who didn't have that? Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it was like wildfire, and then after like 2 hours, it was taken down or something like that. But I mean,
I think I sent you that. I think I sent you that link.
Were you the one that sent it? It was either you or Josh. I think it was you.
Yeah, I think it was me. I'm a
right?
I'm not. I'm Reddit. We have a 2 a.m. burrito Reddit actually, but
We do.
yeah, it's on there. But I don't know. I never got a chance. Not that good. Um. All right.
Yeah,
So
Reddit's the shit.
so what are your predictions that then I guess what do you think is going to happen? This year.
Well, I think the world is gonna end, say in January. The zombies should come by in a few months. I don't know. Politically, I know. I think. I mean, safe bet Biden.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna win. I'm gonna have to get off of social media because I know everyone's gonna be super happy that we have a woman vice president, even though she totally criminalized marijuana and got people in jail and killed. Woo, yay! But no one knows that about her. So yay, we got a woman VP. So everyone's gonna celebrate. Trump is gonna be gone, but we're still gonna be left with a Republican House and Supreme Court. So we'll see. Politically, I mean, I don't feel super happy about what the future. But I will say, in the Senate, we've gotten a lot of like real progressives, like Marianne Williamson, and like a couple other like actual real progressives, like Bernie, versions, like younger people that I'm just like, oh, cool, yeah, let's keep doing that. So I hope by the time that 2 generations, and then all the old people die off, and then maybe the world goes a little left, and we maybe catch up globally. That's what I hope for. But right now, it's just not a good state. It's not a good state that the country's in.
I can see. Well, here's the thing. Here's something that goes back to what we're talking about in terms of the media and stuff. So there's an alleged 10, 15 point lead between Biden and Trump, which is eerily similar to the lead that Hillary Clinton had. Now, Hillary wasn't going to a lot of battleground states. Biden's not going to a lot of battleground states. Again, the DNC is betting its life and yours that a ham sandwich could beat Trump. So they're basically saying, Biden, he's not Trump. Just FYI. And they're banking on the majority of people, which I believe to be true, a majority of people saying, you know what? Even though, let's say I voted for Trump, the Trump economy in terms of high stock, which is not based necessarily on individual small businesses doing good, but based on the economy doing good, where there's a lot of advertising and marketing dollars by big companies, is actually good for my day job, for my corporate jobs, for my corporate work, for my video work that involves corporate clients. Trump economy, good for me, right? The same way Trump rules and regulations and stuff is bad for his base, and they're sort of voting against their own personal interests because they're like, yeah, fuck that shit, take their welfare, do this, blah, blah. It's bad for them, but they're voting against their self-interest. By me voting against Trump, I'm voting against my own self-interest because Biden economy might not be as good at the beginning. So it's a weird situation where the DNC and the whole political establishment is basically saying we got Trump and we got not Trump, and that's as far as we're gonna go with it, and it's got to be good enough for you, and and then basically they're doing the old bait and switch with the Bernie supporters and the Jorgensen supporters, which is, I know you want a third party. I know you want a third party.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're already setting it up. They're like, but if we lose, we're going to blame you. And if we win, you get none of the credit. It's this whole voter shaming situation. It's just
they're like, get in line, vote blue.
No
and
matter
and we'll take care of you down the line, which is just dangling the carrot.
No, and I do another thing I disagree with you on. I don't think the economy under Biden is going to be much different than it would have been under Trump at all.
Right? He's very similar in terms of like he's not going to rock the boat.
Yeah, not at all. He's gonna, if anything, he's gonna privatize more. He's gonna cut Social Security. It's gonna be kind of the same.
Bernie economy would have been horrible for me, because he would have been making these like huge changes to like how the US operates in general. And that would have probably tanked the economy for a while.
Here's the thing. Because a lot of people, I think, saw Bernie and they were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna change everything." No, nothing changes that fast. So how did corporate interest and like privatization and stuff, and like the big 1%, how did that rise? It was a very slow and steady.
Mm.
We're gonna put a bill here, we're gonna cut some taxes here, we're gonna do this. It was very slow and steady, and it started in the 80s. So that's to reverse that, which is what Bernie wanted.
Right.
We would have to start very slowly. So it'd be like, maybe we're gonna start cutting, or we're gonna he wanted to add taxes to the rich. So we're going to higher taxes to the rich. Maybe we'll cut the military budget so we can put it in the healthcare budget. Maybe we're going to, so it would be little things. Like the other day, Bernie, by the other day, I mean, like, I think a month ago, but he wrote a bill to cut 10% of the military spending budget. And well, obviously not approved because, fucking all corporatists in the Congress. But yeah, little stuff like that is stuff that I care about because that makes a huge difference. Do you know how much we spend in military budget? It is inflated. We spend more than the next 10 countries like that are developed combined. Like, it is ridiculous, and we don't need that money. But we're still in wars, and military interests are, anyway, greed is bad. But yeah, so that's where we're at. And I don't think that it would have caused a huge change. I think that we wouldn't even have felt it until generations from now. But it would have been a step in the right direction for the middle class, at least.
So yeah, I always think that it's like I don't understand why people shit on people that just want more for us. Like they're like, fuck you, healthcare is gonna get tied to your job, and if you don't have a job, fuck you. And like why is it so horrible to think? What if you just could walk into a hospital and just get your shit checked out? And that's the way it was.
Yeah. There's like a whole mindset that I see. Like, I feel like the culture really brings us up to feel ashamed for wanting change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, America's great, we're the best. Like, we don't need change because we're the fucking best. Like, it's America, man. So it's one of those things where you feel kind of shitty if you start to question things, and then you're like, wait, this is something that was ingrained in me. Apparently, like, I kind of didn't start really questioning things until I don't know. You have to have a global perspective, and then you all of a sudden realize that every single developed country in the world has like paid maternity and paternity leave, that every other developed country has free healthcare. It's not impossible, and it's not weird, and it's totally doable because guess what? We're the richest country in the fucking world. It's just that our fucking priorities are not, purposeful, and it's against the people. And it's sad because the people that are being oppressed are like against their own self-interest, which is hard. It's weird.
And one thing that you reminded me of right there is there was I think a meme that I saw the other day, which was a tweet from a news station that was saying, when parents found out that their child needed like a $3,000 specialized scooter that their insurance wouldn't pay for, the robotics team at this university stepped in and like custom made this kid a wheelchair. And they're like, today's feel-good story. And the whole thing was like, how have we been so fucking like conditioned to think that healthcare is not a right where you're burying the lead there, where the main thing is, hey, this robotics team made this wheelchair for this kid, and not, why the fuck isn't this kid's wheelchair covered?
Exactly. I'm like, feel good. That makes me feel like shit. Like, what do you mean? This kid had to rely on the nice kindness of strangers to survive? Are you kidding me? Like, I'll do you one better. I'll do you one better. I forgot if it was the New York Times or which one, but they I don't want to trash them. I don't know. But there was an article that basically kind of romanticized it. Like, the tone of it was like, oh, I fought in a war and now my child is going to fight that same war. It was kind of like a beautiful, like, passing the torch type of thing. Yeah. And then I think, like, why are you guys romanticizing it? We've been in this war that has no end for 19 years. And you're proud of that? Like, wars are meant to be fought and either won or lost. There's supposed to be an end to it. But this one, we're still fucking over there and no end in sight. And people are just profiting off of it. And we're losing out on the profits. And it's horrible. And I hate that, like, it doesn't get talked about. So this is all the stuff that I worry about, that in the media, while people are fighting about, like, oh, respect RBG's words and all this, I'm like, that's all noise. It doesn't matter. Policy at the end of the day is what matters. It's what affects us.
I personally am much more conservative in my personal views than I am in
Mhm.
my external political views. Like, so like me personally,
Mhm.
abortion as a concept to me is not something that I am for. It's just something that if I am a situation in my life that, and the main thing is, I think, like, I asked my mom one time, I was like, hey, if abortion was legal in Colombia in the 1970s, would you have thought about it? And she was like, yeah, I would have thought about it. I was fucking 19 or 17 or whatever. Like, like, but it was completely illegal in South America, like against the church, everything. So
Mhm.
for me personally,
Okay.
I'm not a fan. I'm much more fan of planning, education, sex education,
Oh, so
fucking
you're still on board for preventative measures.
preventative measures, adoption, stuff like that. I believe that as it should be a last resort. That's myself personally.
Right.
Now, politically and publicly, I will always fight for a woman's right to choose. I believe that at the end of
God
the day,
bless you.
that is between a woman and her doctor, and secondarily between her and whatever her support group is.
Mhm.
But like, I love the Dave Chappelle bit, which is like the woman should have the choice, but we should have a choice not to play child support. Like,
Yeah.
but like I said, that's the difference between my personal opinion about a subject and
And
but
when
it
you speak
doesn't
logically,
necessarily
you separate it. You
yeah,
filter
yeah, but
feelings.
but I definitely separate that from the fact that at the end of, like, in terms of, like, how do I feel that the government should treat it?
Mhm.
That's how I feel, and I feel that
Yeah.
it should be legal, and et cetera, like that. So you
I
can
actually Oh, continue, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love that because I haven't heard that argument or viewpoint from really anyone. I think you're the first one to ever say that. I feel like I get two camps, right? I get the ones that are very hardcore, like women right to choose, my body, my choice, all that stuff, which is beautiful. And then I get the very hardcore, like I'm religious, a zygote is a human, and no, that's murder and equal to murder, and fuck everyone. I rarely get the person that's like, morally, I don't see that as good, but logically and unbiasedly, I don't think that it's the government's right.
Mhm.
I just think that's that's a cool take because you're able to separate your personal moral viewpoint. It's kind of like the separation of church and state. There's a lot of people that are like very religious, but they don't think it should be separated. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like that makes for so many different issues. There's a reason why there's a separation of church and state. You can have your beliefs and go love your God, but it shouldn't be tied with the government. It's just not, there's two different entities.
But
So I
I
like
believe
that. I
churches
think
should
that.
pay taxes, though.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? Like we get to pay for your stuff or
Yeah.
you to yeah, no, for sure. No, I agree with that totally. And I disagree with your viewpoint on abortion, but I mean, we could say amicable on that. I agree that I think the government should not have a say.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why, like I said, like I'm a gray area guy, like through and through. Like,
Mhm.
like now that might mean that sometimes I could be a little corrupt because I don't see the, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, there's I don't, that's like in my, personal life. But overall, I try to find the middle ground and stuff, and I at least try to be open to, like, okay, this is telling me this is telling me this. What do I really think about this, rather than just parroting the talking points that are out there,
That other people say. Yeah.
you know?
No, for sure, 100%. I think that it would be best. It would be such a better world if people were able to talk without taking things too personal.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like just actual constructive conversation and talk and say your viewpoints and say it in an objective manner. I think this and this is why, and then have people rebut that, and then just. But it's so hard. It's so hard nowadays. I feel like it's very emotionally tied, and the media does do a good job at tying everything to an emotional aspect of your life, and so it's people automatically get offended. If you would have said that to another woman, um, who doesn't enjoy this kind of conversation, she might have been like, "You fucking asshole! My body, my choice. What the fuck?"
Yeah, I would have said, yeah,
She said,
absolutely.
or if you said it to a conservative person, she might have been like, "Well, you're for killing babies, so fuck you." You're a shit person. Great.
Yeah, no, I'm
See what?
yeah, like I said, it is what it that's how people are gonna take it. But like, like if you would have just cut me off in the middle and you'd have been like, oh, well, you did, but personally, you don't believe in abortion, or if you just cut the end of it, it would be like, yeah, and I believe that it should be between a woman and her doctor. But you know what I mean? Like, I thought you were against abortion. I'm against the concept of an abortion. As a human, it doesn't sit with me well. Like, I wish there was no need to go and have to kill babies before they're born. I wish that didn't have to happen in society. Mm-hmm. But if it's gonna happen, it should be as easy as a morning after pill or an abortion pill or a trip to the fucking gynecologist between you and your doctor. That's how it should be if it's easy. Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I also find it really odd, funny, I guess, but that a lot of the people that are for or against abortion, a lot of the people that are against abortion are also against sex education. And to me, those two things just don't align. So that's always my follow-up is like, well, what about like premeditated stuff, like preventative stuff? Like, what about the pill or an IUD or like any type of birth control? And they're always like against it. So I don't understand. Do you just want people to have unsafe, uneducated sex to then get knocked up, to then have to do this, to then tell them that they can't? I don't understand.
They just want people.
Like they just want people to struggle.
They just want to be kept in the blowjobs and butt stuff that they've been accustomed to. That is proven as a method. If you just abstain and just do oral and butt stuff, you'll be fine.
It doesn't work, you guys. Dr. Jet told us.
Dr. Jet. You absolutely cannot get pregnant through those things. Yeah, just FYI. Yeah. No. While we're still on politics, because I have a few other topics, but I want us to take a quick break before we move on to them because they're more like popular culture and kind of ongoing stuff like that. But is there anything else from a political standpoint that you wanted to bring up today?
Let me get my notes. I mean, there's a lot of funny anecdotes that I was gonna say.
Yeah, if you want to throw a couple out before we
it's very depressing at this point. I was going to talk on the pandering stuff. I was going to say, did you watch the video of The Rock pandering to Kamala and Biden? Because that was sad.
Really?
Sad. I mean,
I know.
Yeah. It was so sad, dude. Like, it was literally like there was no policy, nothing constructive, nothing important. It was all just like, they literally called him DJ. Like
DJ The Rock.
Kamala, I endorse you because you are a badass. And I'm like,
okay.
What the fuck does that mean, a badass? Like, he's like, you were a district attorney, you were this. I'm like, yeah. There a lot of people do that. Yes. Anyway, nothing of substance.
Locked up a lot of brown people.
Yeah, they locked it in, and I was just like, wow, I know, don't respect you, The Rock. And it's so tone deaf because it was like all these millionaires talking about how great they are when people are dying. Like, great, cool. Let's just not talk about who's gonna, the next stimulus bill. Let's not talk about anything healthcare related when people are dying of COVID. Awesome. No, yeah, vote for Kamala because she's a badass, and vote for Biden because he's a great guy.
That's awesome.
It was just so pander. You need to watch it. It's ridiculous.
I will check that out. Anything else?
Don't forget to vote.
No, that's definitely, before we wrap up the voting segment, is important because I've been trying to play devil's advocate. We're trying to find the middle ground here. We're talking about an important election year, but the reality is Hillary had a huge lead, and people, undermined it. Polls will be wrong because people sometimes are ashamed to say they're voting for Trump, but if they get there in their own mind, they might do it. Media, which manipulates us, makes a ton more money when Trump is in office than otherwise. Remember that. How did Fox News become number one? Did Fox News become number one while George Bush was in office? No. Fox News became number one when Barack Obama was in office. Why? Because they were the opposition channel. The opposition channel is the one that has the most room to grow. So as people began to get mad at then Trump, And as or Barack Obama was there, the opposition grew and Fox News became the number one in cable. Now, during the Trump era, MSNBC is growing, CNN is growing because they are the opposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they make money the same way Facebook makes money off of interaction and ads. So the longer they can keep you watching, the better for them. So news and the media want you home and afraid, right? They want you home and afraid. Whether you absolutely believe in wearing masks, COVID is completely politicized.
Oh my
They've
God.
specifically made policy decisions saying we're not going to open up schools until November 15th after the election, which, if you think about it, is dumb as hell because it's going to be cold by them and then the flu season is going to be here.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
literally said, whenever your political party or your politicians say, we're not going to do that until after the election, they're politicizing something, right? And what's going to happen is 75% of these small businesses that got shut down are not coming back. And that means more space for corporate greed after this thing pits up, right? We're heading into a whole different world. The media is manipulating you. And this is just facts. You know, it's just a business. That's their job. That's how they make money. It's not a conspiracy theory. So from a specific standpoint, these companies will make more money because they'll get more ratings because of Trump presidency. If Trump loses and Biden is president, then we're going to go back to shark season this year. 18 people died this year. And then they'll be like SARS will come back or Ebola will come back. And you're going to see these companies that are going to have to do this programming about things that you got to be afraid of, right? So that's why you're seeing them turn around and hammer Biden about packing the court and other stuff, because it's better for them if it's a close election and they don't care who wins. They just want you engaged and afraid. So if the choices are Donald Trump or a ham sandwich, I'm taking a ham sandwich, because no matter how you lean politically, I think the fact that Stephen Miller is in his ear and he either doesn't care or doesn't realize that he's putting in all these dog whistles in his fucking speeches about bloodlines and good genes and all this shit. Either he's too stupid to realize that he's being fucking manipulated by a racist and a white supremacist. He had a chance to say, he's like, from what I hear about QAnon, they're against pedophilia. Like, they believe it's a satanic cult. You know, exactly, right? So no matter what you think, no matter how you're leaning, if you have to figure out whether you think it's better for there to be somebody like Trump in the White House. That's it, right? Yeah. So don't buy the polls. Don't buy the fact that they keep telling you about that early voting is humongous. Don't think for 1 second that means that you shouldn't vote because we got this. Because complacency is going to be the worst possible form of being, you know what I'm saying, like regretful after this is done. You know, hopefully, I got your message, Sofia. So hopefully, that's not what's going to happen, right? And So basically, yeah. So before we get off politics, I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that whatever you want, if you want to vote for Trump, if you want 4 more years of this shit, you better vote, because because Biden seems to be crushing it right now.
Listen, no voter shaming on my end.
Yeah, vote for whoever you want to vote, but vote, because
vote for your props, vote for your local stuff, Senate, like just everything. Just vote. Those are the most important. Presidential wise, very important, but not as important as local props. Just look at them. Research.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. If you have any other political questions, we're talking with Sofia, Carrillo. We're talking politics. We are also we were talking about TV. We were talking about Dexter reboot, The Office, all kinds of other stuff, pop culture.
Yeah.
Ask any questions that you have now in the comment section, and when we get back from this quick little break, we will answer them. But you need to plug in your computer. I need to grab myself some water. Because we're an hour 26 into this.
Whoa, that flew.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't seem like anything. All right, so
Please.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, we're two syncing. Sofia and Big Chief Burrito will be back right after this. If I can find it. Oh. Ha We are back. Big Chief Burrito, Sofia Carrillo. I'm going to add her here in 1 second to Fireside Chats today, this evening. Thank you for watching so far. We know we've been in there for like an hour and a half talking politics, but I appreciate everybody who's commented so far. If you stopped by for a minute or for a while, Wooly 24, what's going on? How you doing, Wooly? We're just talking politics, talking life. We are streaming to multiple platforms, including, let's make sure we get a like check on the stream here, facebook.com/2mburrito. Remember to like us if you are on Facebook, like the stream, comment, leave a question for me or Sofia. Which way are you leaning this election? Or if you, like Wooly, are watching on Twitch, we do a lot of interviews on there, moving on to doing some gaming and some with not sure what games we're going to play on there yet, but we are also on Twitch, twitch.tv/2mburrito. Watch the replays, watch some of our old independent films, watch all of the old interviews, all our old stuff from when we started 2am Burrito like 9 years ago. If you go on youtube.com/2am Burrito. And again, if you prefer to listen to your VODs via audio only while you're jogging, while you're working out, while you're driving, podbean.com or bigchiefburrito.podbean.com. Or look for 2am Burrito on the Google Podcast Network. Not on iTunes yet, but we're working on it. All right, let's get Sofia back in here. 2 R's, 2 L's. I remember from the first time you told me how to spell it. That's how I remember. Yeah. Carrillo, 2 R's, 2 L's. All right, fine.
Clarify.
We'll make sure we get it right on the poster. Who's that? There's a cutie there next to you.
That's my little doggo, Cookie. Nice. I don't know if you can see this other one. No, she's over here.
All right, and then as always, let's bring in the rando cam.
Hey,
rando cam. And again, you're talking about 80s stuff. I also have these RoboCop action figure cards from like 19. I believe these ones are from shit, I don't know, like 1991, I think. But still,
you're like a collector, aren't you?
Well, I bought these packs of. I bought these at Comic-Con. I think the last time me and you were there, which was like 2 years ago. This was like one of the Sunday things, and I was like, "Can I get like 3 for $5? Because they're $2 a piece." And the guy was like, "No." I was like, "All right, I'll give you $6 for this shit. That's fine." I might do a future podcast where if I hit a like goal or a comment goal, I might eat this old. I'm kind of like, but seriously, I need to Google, can you die from eating 23-year-old gum? I wouldn't swallow it.
That's only one way. Do it.
I wouldn't. I would.
Game night podcast or something so that we can get you to do that.
Yeah, we should definitely do a game night podcast. All right. I can't die from eating 23-year-old gum, Willie. Well, I appreciate you Googling that for me.
Said it.
What's up? I'm pretty sure like probably people have done it with like unboxing video for like old baseball cards, I'm sure. So I'm pretty sure I'm not like breaking any ground, but I just thought it would be cool to crack one of these open and eat the gum. If we reach some sort of
hard.
Huh?
It'll probably just be really hard.
Yeah, it'll just be like eating like a piece of fucking chalk or something. I'm pretty sure. All right, cool. So moving on to what we were basically discussing, which was just kind of, we got off the politics stuff for a little bit, but Ice Cube was getting pretty hit pretty hard today because people were calling him a sellout because he basically engaged the president, which I think is sort of, again, this sort of selective outrage where it's like, you know, people aren't really looking at all he's doing is trying to have a dialogue with the president about possibly helping his causes. So I don't really have an opinion about whether, I don't know enough about the specifics of it to be like, you know, I think this is more of a Ryan question. And then the other thing that was blowing up today, which I think Twitter and Facebook both fucked up on, and this is more of like that, like, choose a side media manipulation, which is they both decided to fact check and not link to the New York Post Hunter Biden thing, which was basically, the shorthand of that is allegedly, you know, he dropped off this laptop that had water damage at this Mac repair shop repair shop, and then forgot about it. Right?
Oh,
Never went back to pick it up.
no.
So the dude who at the shop was like, he's supposed to be repairing it, and he checks. He makes a copy of the hard drive, sends it to the FBI, keeps asking around, "Hey, I got this hard drive." Finally, Rudy Giuliani's like, "Yes, give it to me." And then they release these emails that say some shit that there was a business, which I don't even understand what the big deal is. Like, fucking business is business, right? But but Twitter and Facebook decide that they're not going to allow you to link to that story because of some fucking random hacked materials policy, which means since the laptop was technically hacked into, then they're saying that that's the reason, which seems like pretty much bullshit. It just seems like they're trying to control the narrative, and they feel like a Hunter Biden is probably one of the talking points or hashtags that probably resonates a lot with Trump, with Republicans, the same way like lock her up and her
Yeah,
emails and shit like that. It's basically they have to have their little
shtick, and one has a shtick.
Yeah. So my thing is, I mean, I think that was a narrative today, which was even Twitter was like, yeah, maybe but it's just so blatant though. Like Edward Snowden technically stole materials from the US government and put it out there. Would you mean that you wouldn't, and this is about national security stuff for people that are invading our privacy, collecting our phone data, stuff like that. So would you have had that same policy in place for something like that? Would you have some of that stuff in place for like the WikiLeaks stuff, with like the crimes of war things, like
even when it comes to like stuff like like nude pictures of celebrities or something like that. I mean, you can really put that into anything if you get hacked or whatever.
Where do you think the story about Trump's taxes came from?
Trump's taxes?
Right. New York Times did a story about Trump's taxes where they obtained Trump's taxes. What does that mean? Somebody at some point with access to Trump's taxes made a copy of it and gave it to the New York Times. That's hacked material as well, right?
No, but that one I don't think it was hacked. I think that one was that recently, because I think that was released, so consented by him, and it was released to the White House by the White House and like everything. So I'm pretty sure that was like standard. We're gonna release it type of thing. Tax documents.
They gave permission.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it. We can check. Can fact check.
Absolutely not.
But I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that one was like your standard.
No, but I think he even said it recently, which was it was illegal for them to release my taxes. That somebody, I know if you're the person managing his taxes, it's probably not legal for you to release it. So somebody at some point made a decision that was against that. Whether he corroborated later and said, yes, that is my taxes, I think that's neither here nor there. I just think that the fact that information is coming from an illegal act, if you're going to say that this information that's coming from a laptop is illegal because they hacked into it, then you're setting a dangerous precedent that allows you basically to say any story that comes up from any different source. We're not going to.
Okay. So you think that Facebook shouldn't be gatekeeping?
Well, the whole thing about Trump is he's saying repeal 230, which is the thing that tech companies use to protect themselves because it's not necessarily a free airwave. They technically, when you sign up, part of their user agreement is they can shadow ban. They can you're basically allowing them to limit what you can post. So what Republicans and MAGA people are screaming about is don't fact check us, and it just so happens to be that the stuff they fact check is usually Republican stuff. Now, obviously, the president tweets out some fucking crazy ass shit. Yeah. Like, he what did he tweet out the other day that Bin Laden wasn't really dead?
Oh my God.
That he tweeted out that Bin Laden wasn't really dead. He tweeted out some
He's
other
in Cuba
stuff.
with Tupac.
He's in Cuba with Tupac and Elvis. And all this other stuff. So I understand it from that standpoint, but if you're looking at it from like a gray area middle ground with perspective, it is incredibly weird that they made that decision so close to an election. And if anything, I think it backfired because it feeds into the media is against us narrative, which is one of Trump's primary thing, which is what you've seen is not really what's happening. You know, he's basically telling you don't believe anything unless you hear it from me or from one of the news sources that I give you. You know, even though he agreed to be on NBC, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be on NBC, those lying ass motherfuckers. Like, literally, his tone was, I'm going to be on fake news NBC tonight doing my town hall. And he's just like, you fucking lying piece of shit, NBC. And the reason he's president is because NBC didn't give him a raise. So now, now they're putting him. Which is a long about way to tell people, which was our previous point, which is that the media, you know, it's continually manipulating us, right?
Yeah, it's super biased, and I mean, it's hard. It's hard because I mean, like you said, it kind of it always backfires. I mean, Twitter also with the fact checking thing that they implemented, and they use it kind of almost always only on. It always backfires because the people that are very like MAGA, ride or die, it only adds to their narrative that they're against us, you know. So I feel like they only double down, and so it doesn't really serve a purpose. And then, like you said, why are they gatekeeping to play devil's advocate? Listen, I enjoy the notion of respect private documents, but you're right. Like, why is this the first time when it didn't seem to be like that before? You know what I mean? So choose a side. Either you do care or you don't care. You're going to enforce it or you're not, but don't blatantly like only do it for your side. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's a weird flex. You know, it's kind of like it's like what it is. It's like weird flex, but okay, like you know what I mean? Like really, it's like I really don't want to put anything on my platform that's gonna be good for Trump. So you know what? Let's go ahead and veto this. You can't post this. And if you try to post this or link to it, we're going to just slow everything down and slow down your account. So fuck you. We're Twitter. We're in charge, not you. You know what I mean? Like, and Zuckerberg was like, how many billions have I made since the pandemic? That's enough. That's enough. Yeah, let's on this one, we're going to go ahead and say no, next. But like, even though I understand that the Hunter Biden stories help Trump and hurt Biden theoretically,
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
Because nepotism is widespread throughout. Also, Trump. I mean,
but Biden doesn't hit him on it. Biden doesn't hit him on it.
But he should, is what I'm saying. The same way that like, if Biden were to hit Trump on like sexual assault, then he can hit back. Like it's just something they have in common. So
yeah, it's a weird rules of engagement that they have going on. Although
they're buddies. I feel like they're buds at the end of the day.
Did you see the Lincoln Project remix of the Trump Jr. ad?
No.
Oh yeah, you should.
There's a remix.
Yeah, no. If you follow the Lincoln Project on Twitter, one of their thing is, I think it's from today, is that Don Jr. put out this ad and he was basically just talking shit about Biden, but they remixed it and they remixed it in terms of making it seem like it was against Trump. Wooly, what's your question here? What are your views on far left and far right? I don't think that any extreme is good. I think that on one side, if you have like what's on the far right, Proud Boys, white nationalists, things like that, like there's like a Puerto Rican guy that's one of the heads of the Proud Boys, which was confusing. I think you can find that those extreme views are probably weird because it almost seems like all these groups that used to be about personal freedom are like all of a sudden like so pro dictatorship because they feel like they're on the side of it, right? They're like, fuck that, and they come for my guns or blah blah blah. The government can suck a bag of dicks, this and that, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, there's this government that's trying to be like super hardcore, and they're like, yeah, fuck that. You know what? We're with that, right? But then I believe that even though the media tells you that Antifa is not a thing, I think absolutely it's a thing. There's people that think about when the Antifa people that are super far left started coming out. It's because they didn't have jobs. It's during COVID. These are people that are kind of already marginalized. They have extreme views, very similar to the extreme views that people on the right have. and they didn't really have a sense of purpose. So there's this thought process that they can sort of latch on to, which is they're against their right. They already have left political feelings, and they're true. They're out there. There's definitely agitators for Antifa that are trying to publicize this the same way there's agitators for the far right. So I think, like I said, I'm a gray area person. I try to find the middle ground with things. Sofia is also more of a centrist, I believe. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
No, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So as far as the far left and far right, they're not far out, man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I want to add to that because I totally agree that far anything is not okay. Radical is just not healthy and it's not constructive, and anyway, but to add on to that notion, I think that in this particular country, once you look into the global political spectrum, we don't have a far left. There's no such thing. We might not even have a left. I think that the Democrats, there, if you go to a global scale, say let's go to, like, I don't know, somewhere like Holland, or let's go somewhere to Germany, their left, you will see that is way more far left than our most progressive. Like Bernie would be a centrist over there.
Really?
He would, and yeah, and then Biden would be a conservative, and then someone like Republicans would just be far right. They would be off the, like, radical. So that's just where it starts. Like Bernie is very centrist when it comes to other countries. So I don't think that a quote unquote far left exists here. Maybe Antifa, but I would consider them radicals. I wouldn't consider, people with ideologies that are willing to do violence, someone that is
it's more like the fringe. It's the fringe left, I think.
It's the fringe groups, exactly. Yeah, and the same thing with MAGA, the people that are very much like KKK and stuff like that.
That's a fringe right.
I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, they've gone too far. They're gone too far. If you're talking about political ideologies and like people that are actually on the spectrum, I don't think we have a far left in the U.S.
Like I think the far right would have been the Tea Party, right? I think that's kind of like far right because they're basically like they're just kind of hardcore views about taxes, liberties, and stuff like that. And for a while, it felt like they were taking over the right, and then Trump comes around, and now it's all of a sudden MAGA everything. And it's like, and then he hijacked the party, and he was so popular that people sort of had to fall in line. And it's weird to see them now teetering where they're still trying to follow party lines and still tripping over themselves because they have to. That's their candidate. If he gets kicked out, the party's over, and there's going to be a rearrangement, and there's going to be a reckoning. There's a storm coming. Yeah. There's a storm coming. All right. So my last political thought, and I want to move on to a couple of fun things that I told you we wanted to talk about, was free money and sharps. Sharps are people in Vegas that that move in when they see a discrepancy or an opportunity in terms of a betting line. So they think that a team that's favored by 7 points shouldn't be favored by 7 points because there's some information that there's some turmoil in the team or something. So they bet heavy on the other team because they have some information. So so sometimes when you're in betting circles, you'll hear about sharps. Sharps are doing this. The sharp money's on here. There's a lot of recent. This is the last thing I'll tell people not to get complacent about this election. There's a lot of sharp money because I follow a lot of gamblers that are putting money because there's good odds on Trump right now, which means they think that there's enough of a chance that he will win that they're putting their money on him either to win or not to lose by as many votes as possible. So like I said, even though voting early starting, the election already started, people are already voting. It ends November 3rd. So the only way that if you are against Trump that you're going to be able to get a peaceful transition is if there is an overwhelming number of states that can be called on November 3rd. If Fox News is forced because of the sheer magnitude of the numbers to call Ohio, Florida, Pennsylvania, Texas for some reason for Biden on November 3rd, then that's the most plausible way to get Trump to leave the White House peacefully, right?
I still think he's going to leave kicking and screaming regardless.
I believe my low-key prediction is that Biden wins, and then he tries to fight it out in court. He gets knocked down. The elections board approves the election, and then he resigns like Christmas time or something. He cites some family thing, and he's like, "I'm leaving," and then Pence pardons him for anything he's done up until this point, although he can't pardon him for future federal or state crimes that haven't been charged with. But that, if I was going to say what I thought, and I think there'll be a lot of fucking writing and a lot of fucking shit talking from the right during that time. It'll be kind of like the reverse of the protest that we were having for the last couple of months, where I think it'll be like they'll go out there kicking and screaming, but at the end of the day, they're going to have somebody to be mad at in Biden, and then it'll be like they'll just kind of shift to that. Yeah. But be aware that there are people with money that are good at gambling, that are looking at the odds and are looking at the trends, and even the Biden campaign saying, we don't believe we have a 10-point lead. We believe it's much closer. So there is, even though Biden was on this upward trajectory and it seems like a done deal, it has leveled off a little bit. And there's still like two plus weeks left, which means it could still turn. And the enthusiasm and shit, and him being COVID and stuff, and he might kill himself on the campaign trail, but he's going to be out there fucking pushing it. So don't be complacent. Get out and vote. Phone bank, do it. And if that's what you want, I mean, if it's between Trump and a ham sandwich, I'm taking a ham sandwich. So obviously, by default, that means I think that the world will be better if he's not our president. It's as simple as that. So from my perspective, I think everybody, if that's the only option we have, Biden and Harris are horrible candidates. We've talked about the faults that they had. We've said it for several months. We've been talking about this for several months. But it is what it is. And then any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I completely agree. Don't be complacent. Vote. If you're in a swing state, definitely vote for the lesser of two evils, even though I think that argument is stupid. But do it. Please do it, because ham sandwich is better than Trump. And then hopefully eventually we can eat the ham sandwich and move this country a little more central to the global scale.
We can get a nice panini.
Okay, please. Nice panini.
Nice torta.
Yeah, why not?
And there's free money on the streets, everybody. Free money in the streets, and I'm going to tell a bit about it right after this transition that I paid for.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, dramatic. Free money on the streets. Did you know, and we're not sponsored by any gambling site, although I'm open to it, gambling sites.
Yeah, I didn't know about that term.
Did you know that you can bet money? It's like a ridiculous amount, but you can technically right now bet like $10,000 that Biden will cover like New Hampshire or California, and it's like negative 15 to 1 odds, which means like you have to bet like 15,000 to win like 1,500, but it's technically free money, because there's zero chance that you're going to lose those bets. And there's casinos that are still taking that action right now.
What? Wait, I want to do this. I want to get in on it.
Well, technically you could vote 100. You can bet $100 to win. Like, I don't know what the numbers are, but the odds are so in favor of it happening that you really have to like bet a shit ton of money to win a little bit of money. But it's still technically free money, because there's no way that he's not going to win some of these states that you can.
Yeah, it's like saying Biden's going to win California.
Yeah, basically it. Like that. For that you might have to bet $100 to win $1, but you're guaranteed to fucking win. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So
I'll do that. Wait.
Yeah. So let's pool all our money together and let's bet on California. We'll all get a couple extra bucks out of it.
I'm down.
All right, so here's one of the topics that I wanted to talk about.
Oh shit! Okay.
All right, so should we do like personal topics first, or should we do the advice thing first?
Personal? What does that mean?
Well, no, just kind of like I told you a couple of things that I actually I just have one thing. Honestly, it's just one thing.
Oh shit! Can I plead the fifth if I will?
It's not like a personal thing. It's just it's a bit basically.
Okay.
Or should we do the advice column thing that we were talking about first?
I want to do the advice column for sure. Do you
Okay,
want to do
let's do
that
that. Let's
first
do
or
it. We
the
can do
other
that.
one better? I mean,
We can do
you're
that
the
first.
one that knows what the personal thing is. So if it's a good
Yeah, yeah,
segment,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Did you have anything for the advice column?
No, I didn't know it was supposed to get anything.
What did you
You were
bring?
like, here are the topics that we're talking about. They're all political.
Did you bring anything else to the table, Sophia? Did you bring your homework?
My beautiful personality.
Oh, okay. So here's what I thought here, I'm gonna put this up on the screen. Tell me what you
Go for
think.
it.
All right, give me a second here.
A ver, what you got, bruh?
So this is what I thought we should call our segment where we got like people to give us like personal problems that would be like private, so we wouldn't say who they were, right? But we would try to answer the questions.
Yeah.
So I think we should call the segment
No nam, no nam is way. Yes, yes. Oh my god. Yeah. No nam is way. This is so perfect.
isn't
Thank
that a
you.
good name? Isn't that a good name for a segment?
That yeah. Yeah.
I thought you
Fuck yeah. I'm
I
excited.
thought, I
Like,
thought, I thought you would like that. Give me a second here.
no nam is way. Ay, como chingas.
Give me a second. All right. So this woman, this lady has a brother, right?
Okay.
Her brother goes off to college.
Okay.
Okay.
hmm
Her brother meets a guy, right? Right. And they become close friends, right?
Okay.
They become close friends.
hmm
After a while, the sister meets the guy her brother became friends with. They become friends like several years later, and like under different circumstances, right?
hmm
They begin to spend time together. They get together and they get married, right?
hmm
Then her brother comes back into the picture, right? Also now married to a different woman.
Okay.
Okay. Are you following me so
Yeah.
far?
So the brother and the sister married the brother's ex friend, whatever.
Old friend,
Oh, yeah.
somebody that he knew from college, right?
Yeah. Old friend, and now the brother, I guess, exited her life and then came back. So now they're all
Right.
together and they're both married off. Got it.
So the brother and the dude, they had a real deep connection when they were in college because one of them was depressed and they were, friends, blah blah blah.
Okay.
So they had a relationship. They had a
I knew
they
it. I
had
called it. My
they
gator
had
was
a
like ding 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 ding.
they had a relationship, right? But the sister was led to believe that that was all in the past,
Oh,
right?
so she knew.
Well, she found out about it. Like he kept like
Eventually.
revealing stuff to her, more like
Okay.
But now she's married to the guy. She's basically married to her brother's ex
Ex.
lover,
Awkward. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And her brother's ex lover is now married to another woman, and they live close to each other. And her brother and her husband go off on many fishing trips
No.
because they have such a deep bond with each other that he's my best friend from the past.
No.
He got me through a rough time in my life in college where I was like suicidal and this and that, and he made me find myself, So we're best friends now, but we're just platonic because I'm married to you. He's married to old girl, right?
Sure.
Et cetera, right? So the girl's like, yeah, okay, I'm married to the guy my brother has a very deep relationship with from the past. And now they're very good friends and they go off on fishing trips constantly and spend a ton of time together.
It's
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the am I the asshole part is the wife of her brother didn't know about that relationship.
Okay, gotcha.
She knew that the dudes were best friends and they spent time together, but she thought it was a completely cool fishing stuff, right?
Hmm.
Right. So original girl lets it slide to her, like in a, well, don't you think it's weird that they going off and doing all these fishing things together? Like, hey, have you seen my husband? You know, he's probably with my husband. Oh, they spend a lot of time together, don't they? Yeah, you know,
They used to bang.
they used to bang when they were in college. And
Oh
she's
yeah.
like, she's
Oh
like,
yeah.
what? So her am I the asshole question was, should she have assumed
Hmm.
that this new woman should by this point know this about the past of her current husband?
Okay. So her question is, was she wrong to assume that she knew?
Was it wrong to bring that up as a casual conversation? His job, but yeah, they used to fuck.
Oh, yeah, it was. I don't know. It's hard. It depends on how out and comfortable the brother and the now husband of the sister are. Because if that was a public relationship, then yeah, why not? Like let it slip. I don't care. But if she had a hunch or she kind of knew that like, oh, mom didn't know about this, your friends didn't know about this.
Have you
Like
seen my
if it
husband?
wasn't.
He's probably out. He probably went fishing with my husband. Oh yeah, they go fishing all the time. Yeah, they're very close.
But here's also another
I
thing:
mean,
is
they had a
like,
relationship in college. You should know. Obviously, you know about this. And then she's like, "What?"
yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: like, also, why are they allowing them to go?
Mm.
Like they know they're fucking. Come on, right? Like that's the assumption right
Well,
there.
that's the second part of the story.
They're,
That's the second part.
they're Brokeback Mountaining at that point.
So,
There's a second part.
yeah, there's a revelation after this. I just wanted to get with your.
But this is a
Well, he
question.
also said yes. Yes, she said yes. It's something wrong. Thank you.
Yes, there's something wrong. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I, okay. So here's the thing.
Okay.
She met this guy after
Mhm.
him and the brother relationship during college. They go their separate
Mhm.
ways. Somehow, the sister meets the guy,
Serendipitously, they meet. Yes.
but he
Mm.
looked her up, figured out it was his sister, and
Oh.
began the relationship in earnest just so he could get closer to her brother again.
What? Why are they still together? Wait, is the assumption that they're still together and she's
No,
now
this
telling
is
the
basically,
story?
she was talking about it like am
Okay.
I the asshole? And then after she revealed that, she's like, hey, this is the update on that.
Yeah.
She confronted him. I confronted my husband because I was really naive not to realize this
Okay.
and he finally broke it down to me and said, yeah, the only reason I pursued you was because you were his sister and he wanted to get back into his life. So he basically, I don't know if he was bi or gay and a good actor, but he basically got into her life. She never thought twice about it, and she knowingly married him.
Nah, this has got to be fake. This can't be real.
Knowingly
No,
married him,
no
and
way.
then he got back together with his brother, and then now they're like bosom buddies going out on camping trips, getting their broke back on.
I refuse to believe this is real. There's no way. There's no way. How can she be this dumb? How can he be that much of an asshole?
That manipulative.
Yeah, that manipulative. And then the brother. Okay, listen. If someone got with me to get to my brother, I would hope that he would be bro enough to be like, nah, son, you married my sister.
Bro enough. I like that.
Yeah.
You bro enough.
He would, you bro. He would, no, yeah. What a dick of a brother. I'm just gonna go bang your husband. And then the husband, how manipulative. And then this is not real. This didn't happen. I disagree.
No, it happened. It happened. Holy shit is right, Willie. Holy shit is right. Right. I couldn't believe it. No, and I think the ending of that was that she basically had him move out and was like, okay, well, I guess my whole life was a lie because I married my brother's ex-lover who only looked me up and became my husband so that he could get back into my brother's life.
I disagree.
So there was a whole bunch of sham weddings in that situation.
Yeah, a lot. Holy cow. I mean, the only cool thing would have been if like the two girls were also like just diking it out and then just
No, yeah. Now
forcing
if when they have that conversation, they look at each other from across the room
yeah,
and
and
they're
they're
like,
like, oh, that's it. It went from this to this. It's like, all right, really? Why should they have all the fun?
let's get.
Yeah, I don't. What? Wait, so what was the advice question on this? Was there
No,
even
this
an
was
advice
just something
question?
cool to talk about.
I love it. I
No,
love
I found it on Reddit.
it. Of
On
course.
am
Yes.
I the asshole? And usually people just post something. So basically, she was asking if she was the asshole because she let it slip that she knew that this girl's husband had at some point had a relationship with her brother.
Oh God, no, never mind. I retract everything. No, you are not an asshole.
No, you're not an asshole. You're naive.
Yeah, you're naive and dumb.
You're dumb as a bag of rocks.
Yeah.
But but the other no, the one thing that I did get for the advice column that we're not calling
No, not his way.
no names way. No names here. No names. Is from a friend of mine from back home who told me the following, which
Okay.
was he dated a girl for about 6 months, a couple of years back. Got it? And she was kind of like they met on like a co-ed softball team,
Hmm.
like from a work thing that was like a mixture week. And he's like he hooked up with her at a bar one time after like they had beers after a game one time, and they kind of casually dated. This was about 2.5 years ago, and she left, just kind of disappeared. Right?
Okay.
Meets him on the street, like in the subway, like towards the end of last year, pre-COVID. Right? Meets her like in the subway one day, except he kind of sees her from across the train and she looked different because she had like a shorter haircut, but he could recognize like her face and stuff.
Right.
Turns out she has been in the process of transitioning
Oh.
for the last like 6 months to a year. So she's basically in the process of living as a man. Which I believe like for you to have surgery or stuff like that, you have to sort of live as in for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure if that's a thing or if you can start like
Well,
hormones.
you start hormone therapy, and then I mean the surgery comes along. But yeah,
Right, but you have to like at least be committed to living in the lifestyle, blah blah, before so that they know
you
that
don't have to be.
right. Well, I don't know, whatever. But that was the process that he was in.
There
Right,
was overlap basically
right.
between
There's
the
no overlap.
process and
Right,
them dating.
got it. So she's living as a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And dressed as a man, short hair, like boom, like to anybody else except him who he know her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would think there was a dude, right? So starts talking to him and they start reconnecting and one thing leads to another.
I'm so
and
happy.
and they end up hooking up a couple of times.
Oh,
But
sorry.
he said he felt weird about it because he was acting
Like a dude.
like a dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So he said it weirded him out,
of course.
but not enough not to do the deed.
Okay. Hey, man.
But he ended up getting freaked out about pursuing any sort of relationship with them.
Okay.
Because I think the question there is how much should I give a fuck about what people think about, like, so what's the advice there for somebody that's in that situation? Like, just go for it. Like, I guess the question there is, was it wrong for me to hook up with them?
Mm-hmm.
Even though the sex was weird because it was like not gay sex, but technically it was gay sex, but it was.
Yeah. Before I answer, I have a question. What was the genitalia like? Like
nothing was changed. Nothing was changed.
Okay, so nothing had changed. So
right. But they didn't want, but the
exterior was male. The
exterior was male.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say, should you feel weird? I don't know. That's up to you. Um, and should you continue? That depends on what genitalia you prefer, because if they are eventually going to transition, if
Right.
that's not your thing,
They
then
couldn't.
that's
They
not your
couldn't. The V was out of commission,
thing.
so
Okay.
it was, there was more musculature.
But
Eh, what?
The V was
It
present.
was present, but at it, but he could not go near it. So she wanted to. She was still attract. He, like, I'm not fucking myself up here, but he was still attracted to the dude physically, but now in his mind attracted to him as another dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the attraction was still there. So the attraction obviously overrides whatever each of them were there. They had previous history together. They have had sex, but
Yeah.
now they're basically, you know.
So wait, now that you say the V's out of commission, does that mean that he didn't like penetrate?
No, I mean, like, from what I didn't get too deep into that situation, but he basically said they hooked up, but he didn't. But every time he tried to go to that area,
It
she
was like,
was, it was like, no, I don't,
okay.
that's just for pissing, basically.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Well that helps out, because then we don't know what was down there. Um, I don't know. Is the dude bi by any chance, or was he only finding him attractive because he used to be a her and was remembering back to 6 months ago and kind of like envisioning that? Like, what
Yeah.
is it that he finds attractive? Is what I'm saying. Because if he's attracted to the male aspect, explore that, figure it
He
out.
was attracted to her when she was a softball player and kind of butch, and probably had some thick ass thighs and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
not
So
necessarily going to be like, hey man,
yeah, what do
are you a little
you
bit,
think?
are you a little, like I said, from me, it, I guess from a technical standpoint, I would have to basically see how far along he was in the transition, because if he was like, if he was already a butch girl, like a softball player type, like, like hiding kind of her breast or whatever, or just somebody that was very demure and stuff like that, and he was already attracted to her there, because she was a little mannish, then maybe he really just needs to be honest with himself about what it is that he's attracted. Like, I think a lot of problems that dudes have is that they feel beholden to what their friends think is attractive rather than what they think is attractive.
Yeah, like what
Because,
they should
like,
like.
yeah, I'll hang out with the fat chick until my friends see me with her or something like that, which is like, man, shit, I've dated big girls are like so much fun. Like, there's like, like, all kinds of girls are different. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter. You're going to be attracted to different things. You shouldn't be ashamed if you're having some with somebody laughing and you're having good sex with it, and all of a sudden your friends see you with them. You're gonna be like, oh, like, oh, it's that's being that's being a little bitch,
Yeah.
honestly. So from my perspective, I think that he just needs to have a sit down with himself and
Yeah.
just be like, okay, what is it about this person
Mhm.
that I'm attracted to? And if I had fun having sex with them when they were a butch female, and I had fun messing around with him when he was transitioning male,
Mhm.
then maybe I am a little bit freakier than I thought, or I'm a little bit
Yeah.
more open to this than I thought. And it's 2020, man. Let your freak fly flag, right?
Freak fly fly.
Freak fly
Yes.
fly. Let your freak fly flag.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, explore, do it.
Do your
And then
thing.
maybe you can figure that you don't like it, and you can always go back, chill. Just because I hate that. That's one notion about guys that I'm like, if you mess around with another guy, that doesn't make you gay. Okay? That doesn't. Chill, chill. I feel like people are so judgy. Just fuck around, mess around, figure out what you like. I feel like an 80-year-old woman. Explore, have fun, figure out what you like. You're young. Live life.
Ryan just messaged me right now. I wonder if he's watching.
Right.
Oh,
Oh.
he's okay. All right. Kenneth Erstad How you doing?
Ah,
Just on Facebook
love you,
and I have
Ken.
no idea what's going on, but it's nice to see my favorite super attractive person. Oh, and hi to you also, Sofia.
I knew it. I knew it. That was the kind of thing.
Thank you, Ernest. I mean, Ernest, Ernst.
Thank you.
I'm a little high. I'm a little
Thank
high.
you. I will take
And
the cute.
he also says, scientifically speaking, the skin nerve receptors can only sense heat, cold, and pressure. I don't even know what to do with that. Give me a second here.
Me neither.
All right. All right. Cool. Catch you next time, Mr. Castleman. All right. So he said he didn't know the time was finalized when I told him, "Are you free on 8 o'clock on Friday the 16th?" Of course.
Oh no.
No, of course, no. Thank you. Thank you for what? Thank you. We've gone 2 hours and 17 minutes without you. We'll survive the rest. We'll reschedule you for another time.
The rest, yeah, the next 3 hours.
Mr. Castleman. All right. So those were my two sort of my two questions, but they were pretty interesting. So for future segments, do you have an embarrassing sexual relationship dilemma that you would like me and Sofia to discuss on a future pod? Yes.
We're really good at getting it high.
If so, then you should submit to our new segment called
No,
which means we will discuss your problem with no names and talk to you about it. To elaborate, it feels the same if you close your eyes. Well, there you go. Yeah. Are you saying a mouth is a mouth, Kenneth? Is that what you're saying? Because that's from what's that one show? Not Donnie Brasco, Ray Donovan.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, no names where we got to. Am I an asshole? We got to the Snoop Corona commercials for some reason rubbed me the wrong way. Jessica seemed
it
made me kind of.
I didn't see it.
It made me cringe a little bit. Like, I don't know. Like, it was kind of weird. No, I mean, if you can, if you want. No, but they're just like it's Snoop like walking onto the beach with like a Corona, and he's just like with the texting and the tweeting, and he's just. It seems like. Plus, there's no way in hell.
With Bad Bunny too.
Yeah, there's another, and then there's a second one, which was like, yeah.
I've seen that one.
They just seem like because also there's no way that Snoop Dogg walks onto a beach without a blunt in his hand. I can guarantee you that much. So
and beer, I don't see him as a beer guy, but anyway,
yeah, Corona on the beach.
No, you're right, because they were like, did you get it or whatever? But
yeah, Bonnie, it's just so the dialogue is so shitty.
Yeah.
No, it's Bob Bonnie.
It's Bob Bonnie. I'm like,
baloney. No, Babone.
I love him too. So like, I was just like, I am ignoring this. You are still king. Why choice?
All right, and then my last bit for this was my attempt to understand TikTok.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So we had a conversation with Dan Butler, who's the guy that does everybody's IMDb pictures locally. He's like I told you, like if you want to, he's somebody that's like really helpful with the community. And he basically talked about TikTok's algorithm when we had him on, when it was me, him, and Dimitri. And he said that it is a good idea for filmmakers to get on TikTok to put short versions. Like, so okay. I was like, all right. He's like, I would think people would be better served to get rid of Facebook and just be on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I am going to try TikTok.
Okay.
And I did, and I didn't get it for a long time. Like the dog face guy, the dog face 420, whatever, the ocean spray stuff. Like, okay, that I kind of got. The dude ended up getting a fucking free truck out of the thing. The CEO of Ocean Spray brought him a red ass truck, which is cool. But I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Okay. So there's people on there that are doing like ridiculous, like 30-second tutorials.
Right.
Which are completely fucking useless. It's like the old books where like it would be like, do you want to draw this cat? Buy this booklet. And then the first page was like, okay, draw this line. And the second one is like you add the whiskers and the ears. And then the third page was the full drawn cat, like with everything on it, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like some of the TikTok, because okay, so this is what I did. I didn't follow anybody. I just created an account, didn't put any preferences in, and I just kept refreshing the TikTok main page to see what it would throw at me, right? So like if you start following musicians, they'll suggest musician. If you start following this, so I wanted it to keep it completely neutral to just sort of see what it would throw at me.
Yeah.
And what I saw was people doing crappy tutorials for 30 seconds, people showing off their Lamborghinis, and then I saw a lot of like very fabulous gay teenage boys that are just kind of on there, like either doing makeup or like stuff like that, like super fabuloso, right? Like I could definitely see it as a great social media for like gay teens, absolutely. And then a bunch of like teenage girls that were just going like this and like
like, dancing.
All it is like these chicks and they're just sitting there like and it all deals with like moving their hands like and that's it.
I did that one.
So it is so crappy tutorials, fabulous gay kids. Teenage girls like sexualizing themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, why is this? I don't want to watch.
Well, here's the thing. You need to make a bubble because you didn't put any preferences and you don't follow anyone. So I did put preferences, and so the people that I got it was my sense of humor. Like it was like really dumb, stupid sense of humor, Mexican centric, LGBT centric. I even follow a lot of sexologists because I'm into psychology and sexology and all that stuff. So I follow a lot of like science-y. I follow Bill Nye. Like, so it's shit that I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Bill Nye, the science propaganda guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Well, you know what? Makes a me volcano. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no. So it depends. And then one time I used my friend's TikTok, and hers is so different than mine. Like hers is so heterocentric, very like girly, like fashion stuff. Shit that I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? Like I would never. But it molds to what you like.
Yeah. No, I guess I was just getting the stuff that was super popular. And there's just one girl that just sits there and just puts the phone up in different parts of her house and just does all these fucking dumbass dances to these songs like dumbass, and then I'm just like looking at it and it's like 7 million views and I was just like,
yeah. Well, here's the thing. So TikTok is like being used widely by everyone, and I'm talking about like elementary school kids, like little kids. So it's really easy to get followers. Like nothing, and then like it's kind of
somebody that we know had like a $250,000 followers, and I was just like, why? And it's just a lot of videos of them just like having a conversation with the camera, and it's just the camera just zooming in like it's just and they're so short that I feel like a lot of people just are like, what did I watch? And then they have to watch it 3 or 4 times more just to really kind of see what it is. Yeah. So really, I was trying to figure out like what could I do on here? Like the one thing that I wanted to do that I thought about, which is I've always wanted to do a bit with Baxter, which is that no matter where he is on the property, like when he hears like me fall on my bed, wherever he is, he's down for nap time, right? So he could be like in the yard, in the living room, whatever. Like I lay down because I always throw myself on my bed. When I jump on my bed, like I can count it like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, like, and he'll just be like, he's like, yo, nap time, I'm in, and he'll just jump in the bed behind me. So I kind of was like gonna do it. That was the one thing I was gonna do was like I was gonna shoot him out in the yard, right? Like get a little shot of him in the yard, and then like lay down and then just like see how long it would take him to do it. I was like that would be cool.
TikTok, do it.
And then the other thing I was like, well, I did see a couple of people that came up on my feed that were doing like these ultra short, like 20-second movies where it was just like a 20-second horror film, like something like that. And I was like, that's also interesting. And And the people that do these little quick little like secession stories where they really bust out this narrative like in 30 seconds, that part impressed me because that means these kids are, and every big TikToker, I don't know if they have like a fucking like a tripod or something, but they always have like the perfect angle and lights and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why
TikTok.
one of the favorite accounts for me to follow on Twitter is influencers in the wild, because it's people who see TikTokers and influencers like doing these stupid ass
From
poses,
far away. Yeah.
they shoot videos of them. Influencers in the wild. It's fucking hilarious.
I love it.
So I was impressed with people that are able to edit and tell stories in these 30-second things. And sometimes you see stuff that's like creative in terms of like the dances where like they'll do it in a weird way and stuff like that. But I was like, I could never see myself like on a skateboard, like cruising down, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like Avion, buy me a car. Like
It's no. I mean, we're just not those type of people. Like I have two or three videos on TikTok, and that's because my do it.
you do you?
Yeah. One was
I guess
for one was for like a promo for the sorority, and the other one was my friend, my gay best friend, just doing the little dance. He was like, "You have to do it with me." It's like, okay, yeah. It's fun though, but it's time consuming. It's so time consuming.
but the people that make these dance videos, they have the dances in front of them and the instructions on how to do it, and they're mimicking it, right?
No, so you watch it, you practice it, you learn it, and then you press play, and the song is going.
But you're watching other people do it, right? Like a
No,
tutorial?
you're watching yourself. You're filming yourself.
No, I understand, but who originates the dance? Who's the first person that does the dance?
I don't know. It spreads like wildfire that I don't fucking know. What we did is we just went to like the last person that we saw do it, and we are like, okay, they did it like that, and let's watch another one. Okay, they did it like that. Okay, what do we like? And then we did it.
I
Yeah,
think I don't know, man. I think my brain is like, it's finally getting to that point where it's like I'm not understanding I
social
get
media.
it. I get
Okay,
it. I get it. I
yeah.
get it, but I don't get it, because literally I have a tab open on my computer that's TikTok,
Mhm.
and I'll just like when I'm working during the day, I'll just go on it and it'll just be a new video, and
Mhm.
it'll just, the one guy that's like this dude that just makes these incredibly intricate setups to take a picture, and he's like, look, there's a box, and then there's all this paint, and then this guy's gonna throw a banana at me, and then I'm gonna jump in the frame real quick, and then that's how we're gonna get this picture. So they do all this, and then they jump in the frame, and then the last image is the actual picture that they took, and it's just like, all right.
It's cool.
And I'm just like, it's all right. But the whole thing is they always seem to be in these public spaces, and I worry about whether the paint they use is gonna stain like the ground, because
Oh my god.
like
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I feel like we're more long form type of people. We do films, so TikTok isn't like the best way. Did I freeze?
no,
Or
you're still there. I think I froze for a
you
second.
froze for a little bit. I was like, oh
Yeah.
shit. But what you should do is you should totally prostitute yourself on TikTok, and then those viewers bring them over to our films.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely want to do something like in terms of the one of the things that I'm doing now is I'm trying to take like little segments of the video cast, like the bracket bits and the other stuff that I do, where like I'm having fun with the guests, and I want to kind of isolate those, put them together, so that I can make them like publicity for. So if I can make little tiny snippets, excuse me, of the interviews, and then put those on like Instagram and TikTok, and then I can sort of try to drive more people to the channel.
I like it.
Like honestly, YouTube is the hardest to grow right now. YouTube grows like trickle.
It's very competitive, and I feel like the algorithm is just like so against small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Facebook is the one that's growing the most, which is because I think they're really, since everybody's it's where we have the most followers. It's where I've seen the most engagements and stuff. Like most of the videos have at least like once they've been out for a couple of days, they usually have like 1,700, 2,000
Nice.
people that's reached, and usually 3 to 4 to 500 engagements, which people that actually click on it. And then, so it's usually about 2,000 that people that it reaches, 400 or 500 that engage with it, and then you go down another percentage of the actual people that might watch it all the way through. And I'm surprised sometimes I have these like 2.5 hour pods, and it'll say like people have like 30-40 people watched it all the way through, so that's always impressive. And then I get comments afterwards.
I will be surprised if anyone makes it to the end.
No, this is actually the longest one. I think that the record was like 2 hours and like 5 minutes. We're at 2:30 right now.
Really? Shit.
Yeah, so we did it.
We did it.
New record, personal best.
It had to be with me. I fucking knew it.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk for we could have done this without. We could have had the same conversation without the cameras on, right?
I mean, we did the other time.
So
fucking...
we were like, oh, we're only gonna talk 45 minutes because I gotta get to sleep, and we ended up talking for like 2 hours.
I know. Yeah, you never let me sleep. I never get my 8 hours when we talk.
It happens, and you're doing so. You're still in school. I know you're writing. You know, how's that going for you? The writing stuff, the process.
It's halted at the moment just because grad school got real crazy this week, specifically.
We told you to be smart.
Yeah, I know, right? Gosh. No, yeah, but it's halted a little bit, but I'm still trying to write as much as I can. Doing a lot of research so it can be as quality as it could be. So trying to write a good script here. Yeah. What about you?
No, I'm doing this shit. Okay, yeah, I wanted yes, it does count if you started watching at the 2 hour mark, Kenneth, and I appreciate you dropping in and staying with us till the end.
Thanks,
Kenny Erstad, friend, colleague, 2AMB actor, has had many pivotal roles in many short films. And you know what I'm gonna do for you, Mr. Erstad?
What?
No, what I'm gonna do you for Erstad. Should we play a scene?
Of what?
I have an insecurity scene here. I can play.
Okay.
Let's watch this.
I'm not in it.
I don't think so, no. Okay. This is for you, Mr. Erstad, for staying with us.
What's that smell? Oh my God, that's awful.
Yeah, buddy, that's the burrito, the horchata, little tacos.
That smells like hot garbage.
Nope, I'm not dealing with that. Let the little rats kill each other.
Dude, you woke me up with hot mustard gas. Go handle that.
All right, fine. You're following me.
Nope.
Damn it.
Hey.
All right, hey, knock it off. Knock it off. Hey, man, calm down.
Oh, crap.
Calm down. No, knock it off. Stop it. Stop it. You're not gonna win this one, princess. Oh,
Oh, he just got hit in the nuts.
Oh, God damn it. I hope you fucking die.
Putting this on World Star right now.
Bro, what'd she get you?
Oh, she got me right in the dick.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, balls, too. She got the tape. She got it all. Oh, thanks. God damn it. Oh,
yeah?
Asshole.
10-4. Hey.
What?
We gotta call.
Hey, Mr. Erstad. Hello. Sorry, I had to cut that. But
Where'd you cut it?
No, it was about to be done anyway. But that was a scene from Insecurity. Actually, that's what I'm doing these days. I am taking care of my dad, working, and since I got my new computer now, I am trying to get a bunch of stuff that's been sitting on my desk for far too long edited.
for about what, like 3
Yeah, several
years, I
years,
think.
man. Life gets in the way.
I used to have braces. I had braces when we filmed that.
Life gets in the way of art sometimes, and unfortunately, people have to take shit and put it to the side. Unfortunately, yeah, but thank you for watching, Kenneth. So I want to do that. I wanted to let people know, because sometimes people skip towards the end, that upcoming on the 2 a.m. Burrito Fireside Chats with Big Chief Burrito. Eventually, we'll reschedule Mr. Castleman, who apparently doesn't know how to use a calendar or doesn't realize when October 16th is.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. John Griffith, a painter who paints from Missouri. He's going to be painting some pictures live with us. Katon Jones, who is a graphic artist, is going to be working with Jason Garcia, karaoke host, cosplayer, is going to be talking, and we're going to be doing some trivia, possibly doing some office trivia. I want to let you and Alexis know about that.
Mhm.
Dave Callens, a friend of mine, is coming on. Ginger Gentile has a movie called Erasing Families. Pat Hilton, the homie, we're going to cross the streams. When I say cross the streams, that's when I have other friends that are podcasters or whatever, and we're going to basically stream at the same time onto each other's channels, kind of like in a crossing the streams. James Martinez at the end of the month is going to be on the podcast. He is from Breaking Bad, Love Victor, One Day at a Time, several other films. He was, Gustavo Fring's Rosebud from Breaking Bad. He's going to be on. We're going to talk with my friend Michelle about sustainability. She's an off the grid person that lives in Hawaii. So I have tons and tons of interviews that are coming up. So, we did 2 hours and 38 minutes. Here's my final reminder for the day for everyone. Make sure that if you stuck with us this long or you just caught a clip, follow us. We go live on facebook.com/2mburrito all the time. Thank you for the people that commented from Twitch today. We had a lot of Twitch commenters today. Wolfie and other people that might have not been watching. Twitch.tv/2mburrito. All our interviews are live on there, as well as eventually I am going to be doing some gaming on there. Although I'm trying to figure out if that's going to be Among Us, which is like a cool, or if I might do some old school gaming on there as well. I don't know. What kind of games do you think I should play on stream? Donkey Kong? I don't know.
Yeah, Mario Kart. Why not play all the new ones?
All the new, yeah. That's what you either have to be the best. You either have to be good at the game, the first one to get on and play it, or have a good personality. So, I think I have one of those three. All right, and as always, catch up with all. You want to see? You know what? Sofia was in a movie. You can see it on YouTube right now. It's called Slapworthy.
Facts.
She was the lead. She's a lead. Facts.
I was also like super young and baby fat galore. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Chunky. Thick with two C's, as they said.
Oh yeah, I was thick with two C's.
Like and share the stream. Not now because it's over, but if you find one of our interviews and you enjoyed it, share it. Why not? And again, if you'd like to if you're an audiophile, ASMR, all that good stuff, BigChiefBurrito.podbean.com is the podcast. If you have a story that you want to tell us with not sharing your name, send it to us with I guess I got to figure out.
Names.
You know what? I'm gonna see if No Names Way at Gmail is available, and then we'll set that up. We'll set that up so people can send anonymous stories there.
Entire show on its own.
So, let's see where the rando cam is at. Okay, the rando cam is moved, but you can still see me. Thank you, rando cam.
Yeah,
stuck in me. And then Aegon did say don't cross the streams, but that was when it comes to ghost hunting. I don't think it applies to podcasting, Kenneth. But I appreciate your comments and your engagements with us. So, any last words, Miss Carrillo? 2 hours.
Stay tuned for whenever it is that I finally film that script that I'm writing. Follow me on Instagram. I don't know. That's it.
What are you on Instagram?
At Sofia Car _ and I mean I have a Twitter, but I don't really use it much. So. Isn't
Instagram like the biggest horror of like social media, because it's like it's like, oh, you like stories? We gotta do stories now, like Snapchat. Oh, you want like TikTok stuff? We're gonna have a TikTok session. What do you want? Anything you want. Instagram's here for you. and it's
Yep.
by far the one where people fake the funk the most. It's
Yep.
so you really got to watch because you saw that thing about the private jet sets.
Oh yes, yes, I saw that. I can't believe people pay for that. That's so crazy. I mean, listen, yeah, if we're gonna get into that, also like the amount of filtered pictures that go up, and it's horrible. We can do a whole episode on that.
Instagram is by far, I think, the worst of all the social medias because it alters your reality and makes everybody look like they're living a perfect fucking life. People
Mhm.
fake it. They rent cars. They rent sets that makes them look like they have a private jet. They like even
Mhm.
fucking what was that little Bow Wow that like had a picture of the private
Yeah,
jet and then
and then he
somebody
went
else
on
was
like,
like, and he was
yeah, and then
like,
he went on
so even celebrities feel the need to fake it on there,
yeah.
and it absolutely is like Snapchat came out and it had stories. They're like, oh, you know what? We're taking that.
Dude,
We're
and they succeeded though. At the beginning, I was like, this is never gonna catch on. Okay,
right.
Instagram, sure. And then now
Yeah,
less people use Snapchat. It's crazy.
yeah. And then after Instagram stole it from Snapchat, Facebook was like, zoink, we want that too from
Mhm.
Instagram because they own Instagram.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then the other thing was like the TikTok stuff, which is like now
Now,
Instagram
oh
has
yeah,
it.
now they want to do little. What are they called? I don't think that I'm always on from. Like, I don't think that. We'll see. We'll fucking
We'll see. We'll see if it survives or if somebody buys it.
Mhm.
But anyway, shit, 240, new record. I
Yay!
don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be able to be broken by myself and other
Did
thing,
it.
but we are if it didn't mean it would get demonetized and we get taken down, I would play We Are the Champions right now.
Yeah, my dogs just go to sleep. They're just like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. All right. Well, we made it, Sophia. Thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, thank you everybody for being part of the screen. Ryan Castleman just texted me 2 seconds ago. Are you live now?
What song we just started?
We just started, man. Come on in. We just started.
No?
Oh, that's my little nephew
Theo.
dog, my little niece dog.
Yeah, niece. You ain't got no
Niece-
nephews here.
Niece dog.
Niece
All right.
dog. This is the young one. All right, go that way.
All right. I love you and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, love you.
Everybody, thank you for
Bye.
watching. Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in. Bye.